Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody, and welcome on this gorgeous Saturday morning, September 13th, 2025, to the, and I kid you not, the 999th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of The Stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz. All of you watching at home, my darling and adorable wife, who will be joining us in just a little while to help out with the show as well. But yeah, this is one away from the millennial broadcast, podcast, streamcast, whatever you want to call it, of the Dave's Gone By program that started, so many years ago, nearly 24 years ago, back on Long Island. Then we were in Colorado for a while, then in New York, and now, for the past couple of years, we've been in Maryland, beautiful northern Maryland, where last week I had myself up against the back of our house, which looked really, really nice on camera, but you guys missed the foliage and the beauty of some of what we have here, especially this time of year. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of greenery and scenery for this particular episode. You can see our hummingbird feeder that we haven't filled in about 2 years, because I've told a hummingbird story. At first it was really great. We put like syrup and sugar water in it and hummingbird juice that they sell, and it was lovely. And occasionally you see this little bumblebee-like hummingbird coming and going into our feeder and taking a little nip. We do still get hummingbirds. There's a particular flower that we have somewhere on the property that the hummingbirds kind of go for. But we want to see beautiful hummingbirds dive bombing our feeder. Except the only dive bomb that we really got was I started noticing that like the awning and the pole of the awning that we have here on our back porch seemed like it was moving. Seemed like, how when it's really, really hot weather and the air seems to wiggle a little bit, like things seem to be almost soft focus and wiggly in the heat. So our awning and the pole looked like that. And then I realized it wasn't moving, it was ants moving in a parade, back and forth, just grabbing as much sugar water from our feeder as they possibly could. So that was the end of feeding the hummingbirds that year, and we haven't really gotten back on the stick on that. But we do still have it hanging, just for show. And then we've got these lovely plants here, and I'm hoping last week I make a problem. Just give me a swallow one. Last week, I promised you guys that if we had a wildlife sighting, I'd spin the camera around and share it with you. Because we get rabbits, we get deer, fairly frequently. We have a groundhog who lives under our shed, and we get squirrels, birds. You can hear the bird. I mean, I thought you guys could hear the birds and the crickets and stuff, but when I listen back to the broadcast, I guess maybe there's cutting out of something. The mic on a Mac takes away distracting background noise. But sometimes I do want you to hear the birds if you can. Listen, there's that crow. Listen. Yeah? I hope you can hear that. It's just like, Anywho, we have that. You just can't see that. But it's easier for me to just sort of spin the camera if something does kind of jump across our lawn. There was a bunny on it this morning. He's gone. A lot of things do come out between like 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. and then come back around dusk. But if we do get anything, and also my wife, when she comes, she'll be in a better position to see if anybody's making an appearance. But of course, the sound of my voice might also push potential animals and things away. And you'll just see me for 3 hours, which, not the greatest thing in the world to see, but there are worse things. I'm Dave, as I said, and we've been doing this mix of humor and talk and music for many, many years. Well, no, we don't do music anymore. We used to be able to when we were on college radio. But we still do the mix of culture and zaniness and nonsense and what the hell did I just watch? You will be asking yourselves in, either 5 minutes or 50 minutes or 2 hours and 50 minutes, what the hell did I just watch? You're watching Dave's Gone By. Anywho, yeah, so this week, especially the latter part of this week, when I could get my head into it, because I was so busy with this project that just turned out to be disastrous a week or two ago, and I put a lot of the late summer into it. And then also not disastrous at all. I'm teaching a couple of English classes, and the kids are great, but that's taking time to plan and grade and stuff. So my head, I just couldn't quite get my head into the very, very imminent presence of the 1000th episode of Dave's Gone By, which we're really thinking we're doing next week. And I had thought weeks ago, you know how it is. It's so far away. We'll deal. Something will happen. Something will come. I can't. And even up to like 2.5 weeks ago, I was like, I can't. And then in the middle of the week, I knew I was procrastinating and doing other things besides really planning out the 1000th show. Because a part of me kind of wanted to go back to New York and do it on the old radio station. Part of me wanted to go rent a restaurant or something, or a little tiny theater, just for something really, really special to commemorate that we've been on the air almost 24 years, and this next week will literally be our 1000th show. So what do you do? It becomes sort of overwhelming what you could do, and then as the time ticks away, the amount of time that you have and energy that you have of what you actually want to and can do, kind of like, let's just take this down a peg. So I'm going to stay here, and looks like we're going to do it this coming Saturday, like a week from today, will be our big special show, our celebration of this milestone, this millennium of programs, right? And I'm excited about that. When we were thinking about it months ago, my wife and I had to run back and forth to New York a lot and deal with a lot of things, so I was almost trying to dovetail it and coincide it with the week that we went on the air 24 years ago, like October 6th, 2002 was the first Dave's Gone By episode. I thought, wouldn't it be great if we could do it that very week, especially since we're missing almost every other week of doing the program live. But, things have settled down, and last few weeks I've just been doing show after show and having a wonderful time. So it's like, well, there's not really any reason I won't be around next Saturday. Let's just do it. So next Saturday, which will be September 20th, I believe. Yes, September 20th, the big show. So what is it going to be, right? Because I've asked for your suggestions, and I've been thinking about what to do, and I think I've come up with a couple of really great ideas. Nothing, we're not going to have live elephants, right? I know 12 people suggested live elephants. I don't know where that idea came from. We're in Maryland, suburbia here. And then, maybe flying over to Rio and doing it from there, but passports are just too much with COVID. So I thought, no, we'll stay here. We'll decorate the room really lovely. My wife is getting into this whole balloon thing and getting... Well, I don't want to spoil it. She's designing the thing. Let her design the whole look of it. But she's planning something cool. And in terms of content, I'm like, well, what the hell do you do? Like when I did my 100th show, which sometimes seems like a million years ago and sometimes seems like 5 years ago, but when I did number 100, I grabbed pieces, highlights from earlier shows, I listened, it was so manageable at that point. And it's kind of like, I'll just go through and I remember that this was this and this was really funny and this was really cool and I'll play this and I'll do that. And it just came, plus the show at that point was still an hour and a half or something. So it wasn't a massive undertaking. Now when I realized that 1,000 programs, many of them 3 hours long plus, means that there's somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 hours of material to wade through. of the history of Dave's Gone By, which, I always tell you every week, our archives are at davesgoneby.com, and you could literally, if you listened for 24 hours straight, you never went to sleep, and played every episode that we've kept of Dave's Gone By, which is, we've lost 2 or 3 to technical difficulties, and a couple parts of the shows got lost, but we really have virtually all of about 995 of the shows that we've done. The early ones were an hour, then they went to an hour and a half, and then, ever since we hit college in Colorado, some of those shows went to 4 or 5 hours because there's also DJing and playing music. So I did something. It was about 300 straight days that you would have to be up 24/7 listening. So much as I love my program and I'm proud of what we've done here, the idea of me kind of sifting through and skimming and listening and going show by show by show of like, that was a pretty good moment in 473. I was, really impossible. I mean, if I had a staff, if I had a Sirius XM channel like you know who, and had like 12 people on it for a month and compiling and gathering, and then they brought me like 10 hours to cut down to 3. I'm fine, great, absolutely. But it's kind of just little old me. And little old me is like, there are things I remember that were great and fun, and those are there for you anytime on the archives at davesgoneby.com. But I wanted something a little more interesting, a little different, and I didn't want to spend the whole week just cutting and pasting and pastiching and grabbing this from here and grabbing this and getting this right and getting it's some kind of, little, not obvious, but not how I wanted to spend my time. So I'm throwing in kind of a random element next week. So we will be playing clips, we will be playing highlights, and maybe some lowlights of the past 23, nearly 24 years. But it's going to be in a kind of a cool, special, fun way that I hope you'll enjoy. And then interspersed with all of that, with all these highlight reel moments from, my God, what would I have been? I was 38, right? Oh, no, I was probably 36 or 37 when I first started doing Dave's Gone By. What did I sound like in those early years? And even, I already looked different from when we went to video in 18 or 19. And you suddenly see like, well, this is gray, and this is less. So those are kind of cool too. But the other thing is, we've had hundreds and hundreds of guests on the show, from very well-known celebrities to very unique characters to my relatives and my friends. It's just been that kind of program. And I want to get them on. And again, I didn't want to just start sifting through, like, find this, play this clip, this is 30 seconds of that, a minute and a half of that. I don't have the time or energy. But I've been asking lots and lots and lots of folks over this coming week to drop in, to come on Zoom for a minute or 2 or 3, say something funny, say something wonderful, tell a cool story, and say how wonderful my show is and how amazing I am, and be part of this milestone celebration next week. So I'm looking forward to that. There's going to be a lot of new material next week. So it isn't just going to be clips and stuff and me sort of announcing this. There will be some of that, but it's also going to be a lot of folks, like, say, people we haven't seen perhaps for several years, maybe 20 years, who are coming on to say, hey, congratulations, Dave, and maybe say something cool and funny and interesting so it doesn't just become this hagiographic kind of, you're wonderful, Dave, we love you, keep going, which is great for the host, but maybe not so great for you guys listening and watching. But those are going to be the 2 real key components to next week's show. I'm also hoping and begging Rabbi Sol Solomon to make a special rabbinical reflection for me. He did one when we hit 500, and so I'm hoping he'll do one again. And who knows what else. It will probably be a longer show than usual. It may go on a bit more than 3 hours. I don't know if it's going to go on past our record. There was one time and again, you'll find this in the archives, on why we have so many hours of programming. We were doing a Tony special, and we had this guy, Matt, help us at the radio station. We're at the University of Northern Colorado, and he was a great guy and really, really helpful with sound stuff, and he's a real major sound designer now. And he was really cool. He brought me a cake. He was just an excellent, excellent fella, as well as tremendously capable. And so with his help, and my wife was there, and we had a couple of people from like wandering in and out who were involved in the radio station there, and it was supposed to be something like a 5-hour special of Broadway, like me interviewing, and I do this every Tony Award special, interviewing theater critics, asking them their favorite shows of the year, which shows will win the Tony, which are should win the Tony but won't, and all that kind of thing, and getting about, 15 of those critics lined up for short interviews, playing clips of the Tony-nominated songs, the songs from the musicals, having trivia, having questions, having the timeline of Broadway. Well, my 4.5, 5-hour show just went exploded. It was kind of like I was there for about 9.5 hours straight with bathroom breaks, thanks to the music. But I was like, I'm not. Thank goodness I was still in my 40s at that point, because otherwise. But that was kind of nuts. I realized even after something like 7.5 hours that I had pre-recorded an interview with Paul Williams, right? The guy from Phantom of the Paradise and wrote songs that the Carpenters recorded and stuff. I mean, Paul Williams. And, his interview was about 40 minutes, and I hadn't even had the time to play it. So by the end of the show, I staggered out of the building, and I started at, whatever it was, 9 o'clock in the morning. It was 5:30 by the time I went home. It was literally like having a 9-to-5 job, except you're on mic the whole time, pretty much. It was wonderful. It's one of my favorite memories of doing the show. I don't think next week will turn into that. Because that was one of the other ideas. I was talking to some folks, and it occurred into my head, well, it's the 1,000th show. Let's do 1,000 minutes, right? Like, 1 minute, play 1 minute of every episode that we've done, plus talk a little bit, or just, go on, almost being like these people who get on camera and live their lives on camera. And then I realized 1,000 minutes is something like 16 straight hours. It's not even 500 minutes, which is manageable. Because I think my 500th show I wanted to do something like that, where, it's about 5 hours or so for 500 minutes. That's okay. 1,000 minutes, not happening. Not happening. And I was talking to some old friends who will hopefully be on the program next week, and they had said, well, what about 1,000 seconds? Change it up. Just make the show 1,000 seconds long, which is like cool, but it's only about 16 minutes. And if you've been watching this show, I've just killed 16 minutes, not even saying anything yet. So that isn't going to work either. I knew the whole minute timing thing was just not gonna work. But we do have some really cool stuff planned for you, and I hope you will join us. I hope you will tell people to come and watch if they've never heard of the show before, or they used to watch and they forgot about it, or they've heard of it, or they see me on Facebook, but they don't tune in, or they don't tune to the archives. Check it out. Next week is going to be fun, which is not to lessen or militate against or mitigate the effects of this particular episode of the Dave's Gone By Show, number 999. Oh no, this is not sort of an also-ran. This is kind of like, yeah, we're going to do a show today, but we're really thinking about tomorrow, of next week. No, we got good stuff for you today, too. Because it's sort of a typical Dave's Gone By show. We've got cool segments, funny segments, an interview, a really fun interview, and all the usual unusuals that we do. For example, on this episode of the Dave's Gone By show, we will have Greeley Times. My wife and I lived in northern Colorado for a little over a decade, and while we were there, we got the daily newspaper there called the Greeley Tribune. And we thought it was just a local kind of newspaper reporting some Denver news, but mostly local where we live, and fine, cool newspaper. Not realizing that there was a column in there every week that was devoted to ridiculous but true phone calls that come into the Greeley and Weld County Police Department of people reporting something strange, of their own strange behavior. The dispatchers at the call center people at the police departments have to take these notes. And who knew that it's public record if you strip away the identifiers? So the Trib, every week, would put together the funniest, most ridiculous ones into a column. It wasn't called Cop Log back then. I forget what it was called. But it's now called Cop Log. They still do it, which is wonderful. And then we take the best and funniest ones and share them with you on a segment that we call Greeley Times. So we're doing that because last week I was a little bit worried. The paper skipped a beat and didn't do a column last week, but they're back. They're back. The Chris Bolin, I think, is the editor of that section and may have taken a vacation week. But thank you, Chris. There's new ones, and we'll share them with you on Dave's Gone By today. Plus, speaking of Colorado, we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Because we lived in Colorado, that's not really an excuse. It's a happenstance. It's not an actual, we lived in Colorado, therefore I started writing horrible, ridiculous, tasteless poems about it. No, they were facts that coincide, but don't actually intersect. We did live in Colorado, and I loved Colorado, but I did get it into my head to find as many places as I could in Colorado. Big cities, little towns, unincorporated communities, ghost towns. As long as I could take the name of a town and figure out a way to rhyme it 3 times. The first line, second line, end rhyme, and then, 2 other rhymes in the middle to create a limerick, I would start doing them. And I just did them as a goof, to do it like a half a dozen, to see if I could make them funny, and so forth. And then they started just pouring out of me more and more. And then it became this Mount Olympus challenge for me of how many of these can I do and keep doing? So over the past now, gotta be 7 or 8 or 9 years, I've been trying to keep writing a new Colorado Limerick of the Damned. And I've still been doing it. I've got a new one this week that I will share with you. I have written more than 300 of them, if you want to read all of them in one fell swoop. And I don't recommend that you do, because that will cause serious psychiatric problems for you. But if you do want to see them all together, it's called Colorado Limericks of the Damned, and they're at davelefkowitz.org. That's the website for all my writing, davelefkowitz.org. The new one isn't there yet. I haven't posted it on the site yet. So you have to listen to this program today to get the new Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we're going to Camp Bird, Colorado. I've written a poem about it. Thank you. My darling, adorable, and wonderful wife has appeared and given me... Does anyone still wear...
There's a bird sitting right behind you on the fence watching your show.
I saw the little motion of him flying behind me. He saw the hat and he was like, oh no, I'm not sitting still for this. Thank you for the beverage. There's your special seat. And we even got your accoutrements. I'm speaking, of course, of my darling, adorable, and wonderful wife. Hello, wife. How are you?
Still sleeping.
Yeah. Still kind of tired of the day.
Fix your hair in the head.
Raw crocky. We're going to chase the wild groundhog who's under our shed. I mean, really, it does have that look. It's not bad, though.
I think that's the back. Hold on.
There we go. It's got, yeah. All right. I guess a man could wear this hat. I mean, technically.
It's what people wear when they hike, yeah.
Actually, it does look better this way. It looks normative. The other way, I kind of look like a special child. Now,
I want to put your...
No, now I'm like those Wisconsin cheeseheads who go to the ballpark wearing like foam cheese on there. No, this was all right. This is like, I can do this. And thanks to this wonderful awning, it's actually, I don't have the sun baking me. So how are you, dear? And
why are you yelling?
I'm yelling, but well, we're outside. And then this is me. I'm Jewish, I yell. This is how I do. Jews don't talk like this.
I'm so sleepy.
Jews don't talk like
So
FM radio 1967. The Jews talk like this. So how are you?
I'm sleepy.
Why? You've been sleepy a lot all week, and you've been getting enough sleep, which is kind of nice. I mean, I can understand you were having some, sleep things the week or two before, where you were just waking up in the middle of the night, not being able to get back. But this week you've slept well, and you're still sleepy.
Yeah,
it happens. If you get like 9 hours of sleep, you feel tired the whole day. I don't understand that. But, oh, look what we got this particular week. This is exciting. Oh, it came on camera, but here we go. Potato, we got you a very, very special gift. Oh, yeah. Girl potato? No, not girl potato. But you can get girl potatoes with this. Behold. See, if you've never watched this show, you don't realize that potatoes love ketchup, especially in its nascent form.
Should I remove it? Well, I can't remove it.
Do you want to take it? It's a pom-pom pen. Oh, where are you taking it away? Give me mine. All right, hold on, potato. Mommy is whatevering it from its. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
He's got a cover so he doesn't hurt himself.
Yeah. He's got a lot of eyes. We don't want him stabbing himself. Does it right?
Oh, yes, it's really nice ink.
Oh, potato, you're going to love this. You are going to love this. Look, it is a potato.
They can't write.
They can't write. No, they can't. But, okay, now, potato, do you know what a pen is? Pennies? Isn't that what you make pee-pee from? No, potato. Here, enjoy your special tomato gift. Oh, the bouquet of it. I know, potato. You got all these. No. Oh, thank you, Mommy. Thank you so much. So we got this for Potato this week. There he is.
It's his ketchup fountain.
Yeah, Potato loves the idea of a ketchup fountain, because I was talking about the university where we were doing this show for many years, and they had a cafeteria. And one of the things Potato absolutely loved yes, I would bring the Potato to the cafeteria, because that's the lunatic I was back then. And they had a giant pump of one for mustard, one I think for mayo, and barbecue sauce, and then they have one for ketchup. So you can go stand at that pump, and instead of having to squeeze a little bottle of ketchup or take no. You just take your little thing out, and a whole ketchup thing comes down. And yes, I just spit.
You look like in your own safari. What's a nice look?
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
I like it. It looks very like a sporty.
I am. I'm Sporty Spice. Is that what is a Jewish spice? Like cumin.
Cumin, it would be, I don't know, like gefilte.
I'm gefilte spice. There you go. There's something fishy about that. Oh! Thank you very much. Oh, and I do have my horn. Perfect for Greeley times.
Oh, God.
And just in case, and we may need this for Greeley times.
You want this one?
The sad trombone.
Oh.
And we have even the crushingly sad violin music. Here, I can just press it. It'll be okay. Oh.
Yeah.
All of these very helpful in doing the program that we do for you every week here on Dave's Gone By. Beautiful.
Your playing is really improved.
I know, right? I've been practicing. Yeah, this is good. So anyway,
the bird there.
Because I'll spin the camera around.
It's right there.
Oh, it's on the feeder.
Well, the feeder's empty, but...
Yeah, I don't think the camera will pick that up, but we do have a...
Oh,
it's beautiful.
No, he was looking at the feeder, but it's too... How come the feeder seemed very low?
Well, it's hung down, probably the branches and the leaves of the bush Well, I think I'm probably
But
pushing the thing
feeder's
down.
on a metal thing.
No. I know it's on a metal, but maybe, I don't know. We have to check. We have bird feeders over down the thing that we haven't filled in months. Because
But
technically...
But they know where it is because they're looking.
Yeah. Well, birds have, you feed them once. Cats and dogs, foxes. I was like, oh, there was food here. I'll keep checking for the rest of my life. Because why not? and no, but there was a bird expert in a school that I used to work in. Loved birds, a real expert on them. And he said, you don't feed birds in the late spring and summer. They don't need it.
Okay.
You're spoiling them. They can get worm. They can get everything. It's in late fall and throughout the winter that they're hungry. And you're doing them a favor if you feel... The problem is, middle of winter, you don't want to be out there in boots trudging to fill a frickin' bird feeder. So maybe indoors, let the birds fend for themselves. But maybe this winter we'll be kinder to our fair weather friends.
Yeah, we were good last winter. We were pretty religious.
Oh, we did for last, yeah.
Yeah, remember we kept buying the bird seed and we found the one they liked, and we were pretty good.
Yeah, we also found this bird feeder that at least for one season was squirrel proof.
Yeah,
That was helpful.
We bought 2 of them.
Yeah, because it actually worked.
Yeah.
As opposed to being literally torn to pieces in plastic shreds by a squirrel that could go into it and upside down and stay in it. Oh, was it another bird?
Yeah, a lot of birds.
Well, yeah. It's gorgeous. The other lovely thing, that isn't even ironic, but it is quite lovely, is that since moving to Maryland a little over 3 years ago, I would do this program, have been doing this program on Saturday mornings, and it would be the joke that it would be beautiful weather all week.
Oh, it would rain, that's true.
Saturday mornings, it would be grim, rainy, pouring, like lousy weather to go out and go shopping and do. And I do the show, and I'd say, you people don't understand. It really is nice here. It's just on Saturdays, the heavens open up. Yeah, but the last 2 Saturdays, okay, potatoes.
On TV. Thinks it's funny.
Rain.
He doesn't understand.
He doesn't have a developed sense of comedy.
No,
He does not.
Rain is funny.
But
He calls it sky crying.
oh, really?
Sky crying, yeah.
Oh.
He doesn't know.
So, but I was asking you about you. Besides feeling tired, how was your week? How's everything going?
It was good. If my energy would resume, I would feel happier. That's the only. I have to regulate my temperature.
Your temperature?
Not my temperature, my awake and sleep cycle. We're liking our exercise thing.
Yeah, my wife and I have been, because it's been such a tumultuous time, one of the things that keeps us sane is, and we don't want to go to the gym and we want to pay whatever, an hour to have somebody yell at us and say, more push-ups now! It's like, I don't need that in my life. So we have this online app. It's an app?
It's an app,
Yeah. And they do these little videos, and depending on how much they recommend for you, the videos themselves are like a minute long because it's one exercise, and they'll group them so you can do 6 minutes of them, 10 minutes, 12.
Yeah.
They're moving the needle now. At first it was 6 minutes. Okay.
It was 3.
3 minutes, 6 minutes.
The bird up there.
9. Where?
And see the
A
pole
dove.
right here?
It's a dove up there.
Yeah. It's hard to get them when you move. They're not very.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to. I don't know if you can see them behind me. There's a dove on the wire. Like a bird.
The tree is filled with birds.
Really?
You just don't see them. They move occasionally.
All right.
Watch
What was the bee?
Yeah. It's okay.
Bumbly bee, stay away from me.
No, it's not the bad kind. Don't worry.
All right. So.
He's trapped under the canopy, but he's going that way.
So what was I saying? I was talking about the rain. I was talking about what else about moving here? What was I saying? What was my thing?
Saying like that since we're doing exercise.
Oh, the exercise.
Exercising, you like it?
Yeah, but now that now suddenly it's like do 12. It's 15 minutes. It's 12 minutes, and I'm like, hey, this was easy a month ago. Now I'm like, we're doing it 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, really? 5 more exercises? Yeah, come on. I mean, squats. Okay, squatting. Do this.
Is this weekend going to be nice like this, or is it going to get hot?
Today will get warmer.
They're all in the tree. You can't see, but they're all flying around.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, and if anything does fly close, or if you see a bunny,
I just see them. I'm having one eye on the bee and the birds in the tree. There.
Is a bee still there?
Yeah.
What the hell is the bee doing?
No, he doesn't. He can't get out. He's like an oofty bee. So he's trying to get out, but he thinks that the...
Oh, he thinks
what's
you
above
always
us-
see him. Oh,
well,
shit.
He thinks what's above us is sky, but it's not.
Uh.
So he doesn't know. He wants to fly up, but he doesn't know that he is...
If he can fly forward, not towards me, B. You can almost see him probably on the... Oh, shit. Now he's crawling. I hate when they crawl. Go away. Go away. Yes, I am rather phobic about...
David,
Borderline
not
phobic.
for nothing, but you might want to move in.
Why, you think? Well, maybe when the... I have to do the interview. Because we do have an interview on this episode of the Dave's Gone By show.
He just left.
He left.
But we do have to fill the hummingbird feeder, and we should probably move it and put it like in the middle where they can't get to it, and then because we had hummingbirds, I saw.
Yeah, well, I was talking about that about 15 minutes ago, about the hummingbirds coming, because you can see the feeder. That's the one thing that does show up on the camera here.
The ones in Colorado, and we have the syrup. We bought the syrup, and I washed it.
Yeah.
We could wash it again, but we need to move it in the middle so that we can see the birds, but also that they...
I wonder what would happen if you filled a hummingbird feeder with tequila. Like a really sweet...
I think they like sweet.
Yeah. Can you get birds drunk?
Yeah, the one on the bake show, the one woman said her dog, she took him for a walk and she thought he had seizures and he got into some marijuana.
Oh.
And then she said, she showed pictures of him he was sitting in his little bed at the vet going like...
Yeah, actually you would figure they'd give a dog marijuana to prevent seizures.
Yeah.
But, yeah, wow. So, but that did lead, I did want to mention that we have a guest in the Daverhood today. Not only do we have Greeley Times in Colorado, Limerick, but we have a guest, a returning visitor to the Daverhood. I was going to take my hat off, but it would hurt my chin.
Just put it backward.
No, I kind of like it.
Also, yeah, I like it too. It's a more woodsy look.
Thank you.
Wow, there's another bird. They're all in you can't see them.
Birds or bees?
They're all in the bird. They're all in the tree line.
Well, that's the one out there, back there.
Yeah, you see them?
Something climbing. Is that a bird or a squirrel?
No, it's a bird.
Wow.
There's a lot of bird activity, but you won't be able to get it with your camera.
Yeah.
See them?
Well, yeah. If we were right lined up against there, you can sort of see them on the side there.
Yeah, even then, they move very quickly.
Well, yeah, the birds.
Yeah.
You never see a bird. A bird doesn't fly slowly. A bird is like. No bird goes like 4 miles an hour, like just cruising.
That's true.
But we are cruising along on this episode of the show because we have Dave Konig returning. Now, Dave Konig was with us, it doesn't even seem like that long ago, in July of 2011. He had just finished doing an off-Broadway stand-up comedy show of his called Hebrew School Dropout. And then a couple of years later, he did another one.
Birdie.
More birds? Oh, wow.
See right there, straight. Look where.
Oh, well, there's one on the tree there.
Yeah.
He's beautiful. So Dave Konig, he's still been doing a lot of stand-up comedy. He mostly does his job now on cruise ships. So instead of going from comedy club to comedy club and city to city, he jumps on a boat, he does his thing, and he's part of the cruise thing,
wow.
which is a pretty cool way to do a career, you know? And he acts, he's been in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and...
Unusual job. Unusual way to do your job, yeah.
And Boardwalk Empire. He's done, he does guest shots and things in TV. But mainly he's still a comedian. He wrote a book also called, I think, Good Night or Good Morning, Mrs. Gorski. I have my notes here. But anyway, thought it was long overdue for Dave Konig to return to the Daverhood and talk about doing comedy on ships. Wow. And also other aspects of his life and how he's been. Plus, one of the things is back in 2011, we were still a radio show. We didn't physically get to see him.
Oh, wow.
So this time, he'll be talking with the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sol Solomon about comedy and returning, and we'll physically see him. And unfortunately, you have to look at Rabbi Sol too. But they're together doing their interview, and that'll be coming up in just a little while on this episode of The Shy. So, yay. Pretty cool stuff. And if there's time, maybe we'll do let's do a Dave's Big Dick Shinari. So,
I don't have anything.
I have a phone.
Oh, okay.
I got my telephone
I'll
here.
look up the word of the day. Merriam-Webster you prefer, okay.
I don't know if any other dictionaries do that, but Merriam-Webster
That's a good question.
chooses a word of the day as a way to promote themselves randomly. Well, for us it's random. I don't know how they choose, but I think it's kind of cool.
What's the word of the day from Merriam-Webster Dictionary online?
So I have no idea what the word will be. Oh, is it a good one? Is it a bad one? What is it? I'll write it down so I don't forget.
You won't forget it.
Whoa! Oh, it has two meanings too, and I could talk about both. Oh, sometimes, so I am tasked with talking about extemporaneously whatever the word brings into my head. So we have the word consummate or consummate. I think we know what both the consummate means one thing. It's like the peak, the
like
pillar, the
right?
best. Oh, I just lost it. Where is it?
I'm gonna get it.
Here it is. Someone who is consummate as an adjective is very skilled or accomplished of the highest degree. And then, of course, consummate, they don't have it as the, interesting, they don't have it as the verb. Wait. Uh-oh.
It's different.
It may be spelled differently, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Oh, so it's only consummate.
Yeah.
So it's consummate, the adjective only. Which probably...
I don't think the bird likes that.
Hope you heard that crow, man.
Yeah, it's the only M.
The other one has only one M?
Yeah.
Ah, good. Actually, good for both of us because we both lose our jobs if I really start talking about consummate. But consummate, I can talk about. And will, later in a segment that we call Dave's Big Dictionary, it's just basically forcing me to talk.
Wait, there's a cookie recall. I think you want to...
Oh, no. What kind? What brand?
Cookie recall.
Me like the cookies.
Threat to life?
I beg your pardon. Ew. Well, I mean, they have peanuts because...
Probably, yeah, yes. No.
A Connecticut company has recalled various cookie products because of possible undeclared allergens. Oh, yeah. I mean, if it has peanuts and they don't say it has peanuts, it's a threat to life. Gina Marie Bakery. I take it, Gina Marie Bakery. Based in Waterbury, Connecticut, announced a voluntary recall of undeclared almonds, sesame, and food colorings. It's not... Talk to me if they have ground glass in them or something. That's interesting.
That's your show. Remember your show.
Anywho. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing on this episode of the show. And we will also have a My Sick Mind segment coming up, which you can probably guess what that one's about. It's where I make a bunch of sick jokes, absolutely tasteless, sick, about something in the news, and it's one of those too soon. It's never too soon for comedy, ladies and gentlemen. Never too soon. Anyway, not too soon to remind you that if you want to write to me, davesgoneby@aol.com is the place to do it, or you can post on our Facebook page that I guess you're watching right now. Just, message me there or leave a post under one of the shows. I can't write to everybody. Certainly not this week because I'm crazed with getting the next show together. But I certainly try and read every single thing that comes in, even down to the emojis and the thumbs up and the smiley faces and whatever else. So I do love to hear from you, whether you're emailing me, davesgoneby@aol.com, or posting on Facebook, etc. Following me on Twitter, or X as they call it, Radio Dave 2. Is our feed thing. We also have a Blue Sky account, David.Lefkowitz. We've also got, we're out there. We try and get the message about the show. Still not on TikTok, for whatever reason. Probably, maybe they're waiting for, as soon as we finally launch a TikTok page and start doing that, then, we'll go to war with China and the country will drop TikTok altogether. So for now, we're on Facebook, Blue Sky, X, Indeed, YouTube. We have our archives at archive.org, and of course everything at davesgoneby.com. So it's about 9:45 Eastern Time here in the Daverhood. I think it's about time we got to some Greeley things, because my wife and I lived in the fairly lovely town of Greeley, Colorado for a long time. And it's me. What?
I like the hat.
I like that. I think I look pretty decent. Pretty good. So Greeley Times, as I mentioned earlier, comes from the pages of the Greeley Tribune newspaper, where ridiculous phone calls that come into the Greeley and Weld County Police Department are then collected. Funniest ones go every week into the paper, into a column called Cop Log. We take the funniest ones of those for a segment called Greeley Times.
Greeley, Colorado. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful city. Oh yeah.
By the way, that is not, as much as I'm sure you want that to be me singing, that is the guy who sings songs about cities. And I would play more of that as I had been the past couple of weeks, but there's actually copyright on that. He actually bothered to, or just automatically copyrighted
Well, good for him.
that. Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. And it is kind of, it is like, Greeley, Colorado. It's a Colorado town with places. I'm reading it off of Wiki. Yeah.
It reminds me of the guy who paints in Minnesota.
Art Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely Art Paulness to him. But anyway, that is our theme, as it were.
These are just your fans. They send you pictures of beef Wellington.
Okay.
Somebody was baking.
I'll take it.
I guess.
Well, beef. My dad loved beef Wellington. Made my first ever beef Wellington. All right. Okay.
You want to talk about how you keep getting empty containers of food?
This is no. I
later,
brought
later,
that.
You should talk about.
Yeah. Well, let's get to Greeley Times, and then when we have time at the end of the show.
Ding, 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 ding,
Oh!
no,
You
no,
need
no,
the
not that bell.
Well, you got the bells
No,
there.
I
Oh,
No,
don't.
This is not the right basket.
Well.
That's okay. I'm gonna ring it like this. Look. All right.
Oh, the rattle bell.
Rattlesnake Kate phone.
Well, I gotta get the phone then. Let me get the Snapple phone.
Use this, but don't put that in your ear.
Yeah, this phone isn't ringing for some reason, but this one is.
Where's your phone?
Oh, it's in the room. It's in the case there. But a caller. And hon, this isn't 8th and 8th, or even 9th and 9th. It's 12th and 12th, which means that this comes from 12th Avenue and 12th Street in Greeley, Colorado. A caller at 12th and 12th said someone left a backpack in front of her house. It had, quote, a bunch of stuff inside. The caller was afraid it was stolen. So,
a bunch of stuff.
Which, a backpack, the reason you have a backpack is that you have a bunch of, stolen or not.
David, if your backpack is filled with masses of, wait a second.
Another call. Oh, no.
It's a rattlesnake caller here.
Oh, really? Ooh.
Here, I'll give you, just don't hurt yourself.
No, maybe the poo phone? What do we got?
Something here.
Oh! It's the frog phone.
Reptile phone.
Reptile, yeah. Hello. Oh, a caller. Where are you? At an unknown address said people he had previously let stay in a garage on his property.
Never
Yeah.
a good move. That's starting out bad.
Oh, he let them. He was a nice guy. He let them stay on the property. Guess what? They came back and they were doing fentanyl in the garage.
How do you do fentanyl?
What is it? Is it a pill?
It was a patch, yeah.
Maybe it's a patch. I don't know. Like, patch me. Oh, people lined up outside the clinic. Hey, patch me, baby, patch me. Oh, wow. The phone's ringing off the hook today. Let's get the, I'll get the mini poo phone. Hello. Yeah, hello. A caller where? On 6th Street Road said that a door-to-door salesman refused to leave and threatened to turn off the caller's electricity.
That's not really, that's called a repo, man.
That's a sales pitch.
That's a repossession. That's like a, maybe, I don't think
That's Glengarry tactics.
That's really rough, yeah.
Wow.
That's like men in suits.
If I was desperate to sell something, I would probably be like, you know what? Buy these encyclopedias. Or else. Yeah. Well, that's just me. I'll get the tomato phone again. Hello? Where? Okay, a caller at a pharmacy. Oh, look at this. Oh, we have our Jewish space laser, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Yes, indeed. A caller at a pharmacy on 11th.
Also, that's never good.
Yeah, right. 11th is not. Our pharmacies, probably going to be bad news. On 11th Street, said a woman, who had been trespassing, was now lying in front of the door and refusing to move. I'm wondering if maybe there were medicine she was taking. Where it's like, I can't get up.
No, she might have been,
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Wow, phone is really potato phone. Potato phone. Hello, yes. Oh, honey.
What?
We need to do this. Hold on. This is alert. This is an alert.
Okay.
It's a story that has to do with like.
You need to wipe yourself with the potato with the ketchup.
Yeah, I'll use the plush tomato pen here, because this is a whew alert. It just means that you'll hear this story and you'll be like, oh, okay, this is not quite what I was expecting.
Good.
A caller on 38th Avenue
Uh-oh.
reported a dog motionless in the middle of the road.
Oh, no, that's not good, honey.
Well, police responded
Yeah.
and found
Yeah.
it wasn't a dog.
Stuffed animal?
It was the undercarriage of a vehicle that had come apart.
So I don't know much about cars, but I would think
They don't necessarily look like a dog.
difference between a plastic bumper and maybe. I mean, my vision's not that good, so perhaps. Yeah.
I mean, in the evening, I could understand. You think it's a big old dog, but it's like, oh, this is a much, much happier ending than anybody could have anticipated from the beginning
That just didn't seem right. Yeah.
of that phone call. Yeah. Oh, we're looking for another ringing. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Oh, here comes the other laser. Laser phone.
This one never works though.
Oh,
It's so funny.
that's unfortunate. You have the other one? Oh, hey,
Yeah, well,
the ball phone.
What's breakable? No, it's not. It's actually it's a bumper.
Wait, bumper. Oh. Hello. We have a call. Oh boy.
Uh-oh, what?
A caller.
Oh no.
And I'm. This is not me, hon. This is not me. A caller at a convenience store on 16th Street
Yeah.
said a man actively using meth. The guy saw a man actively using meth and masturbating in front of the store. I think they call that methturbating, if you know what I'm saying. The caller didn't get a good description of the man because, quote, she didn't want to have to look at him again. Yeah. I guess this is a man with two different pipes, if you know what I'm saying. Wah, 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 wah. Oh, we have another call. I'll get the pen phone. A caller on 11th Street saw 6 to 9 men besides they were standing beside a building smoking, quote, something other than cigarettes. You think there's a drug problem in Greeley, Colorado? You notice that half of these things have to do with fentanyl, meth, vaping, drugs that aren't just good old-fashioned pot. You start to wonder now. I really do. Well, I'm guessing drugs might be involved in this. Maybe not. A caller, I'll get the potato phone again. A caller on 10th Street reported a man was parked in front of the caller's house doing, quote, sexually suggestive things. So he wasn't having sex with anyone, and he wasn't masturbating like the meth guy, methturbating, but he was doing sexually. What is the guy doing? It's like he's listening to the radio, going, which I guess is legal, kind of, sort of. And he's like, hey, excuse me, do you know where 14th Street is? Yeah. My GPS isn't working. Can you help? I don't know. Anywho, let's do an elsewhere. So an elsewhere is where, as part of Greeley Times, we look to other places on the map, other places in the world, for ridiculous, funny news stories that are also true. So this time we go to, oh my God, OMG. We're going all the way to China. We're tunneling down through the center of the earth to come out the other side to get to China for a story that was reported in the New York Post. And not only that, my friends, this is a chicken alert. Chicken alert, chicken alert. We don't have the the flying chickens today because we're outside. We don't want them going all over the place. But chicken, not only that, it's a chicken joke alert. Get a load of this hard-boiled horror. This is from the New York Post. Doctors were shell-shocked. Get it? Yeah, okay, so shell-shocked, hard-boiled horror, to discover a tumor nestled inside a Chinese man's left scrotum. The tumor had grown for years and had ballooned to the size of a chicken egg. The 59-year-old man had no other symptoms of a condition so rare it has appeared only a handful of times in medical history. The patient, a herdsman from a remote mountain village, finally sought help after living for 2 years with his painless but swollen sac. And no more egg jokes so far, but yeah. And by the way, did I have to say chicken egg? When we say, was it swelled up to the size of an egg?
Duck eggs or something.
Duck egg, robin's eggs, maybe. Yeah. There's a Tom Waits song about Uncle Vernon with a tumor as big as an egg. But this man's left testicle grew to nearly 4 times its normal size, owing to a well-defined, firm, smooth, benign mass of roughly 5 by 7 inches. Angiomyofibroblastoma is rare. Have you heard of this? Yeah. And it's usually found in the lower genital tract of premenopausal women, quite literally on their vulvas, FYI. First of all, isn't it wonderful that the New York Post, that we live in a time when the daily newspaper will use the word vulva because it's scientific and that's the only word that describes it. And what is the most wonderful product in the history of the universe, my friends? We shop at a local kind of organic-y, produce-y, high-quality food place called Mom's, locally in town in northern Maryland. And one of the things that they have in their section that has a lot to do with products, health products that don't have the usual Johnson & Johnson, Monsanto crap in them. You know, it's just more natural, not so much homeopathic, but naturopathic products. And one of them that we haven't been getting, but that made me literally stop in my tracks, sink to my knees, and go, thank you, God. What a world we live in. It's a little box. It's a little gray box with red letters on it. And it costs about $30. Otherwise, I would have gotten it to show you. It's called Vulva Balm. Vulva Balm. B-A-L-M. I guess you can see what kind of ointment and what you do with it and where you put it. Oddly enough, they didn't put it in the frozen fish section, but it was there. And then the next time we go there, the same company has a bigger bottle, about half the size of this, and it isn't Vulva Balm, but they also do something called Vulva Wash. So there must be some women out there who don't need douching, right, and they don't need issues with other parts of the hoo-hoo. But Vulva Balm, Vulva Wash, I've got to figure they're working on some other products on this product line, that they're asking women, or they have one particularly very desperate woman that they're trying to please with these things. They say, is the wash working? How about the balm? No, don't really need the balm. Well, what else do we have? We have vulva breakfast cereal. It works internally in a very different way. It'll come down there and ease things. Also, vulva furniture polish. You just kind of work it down there, spray it on, rub it off. But vulva balm, ladies and gentlemen. So this Chinese dude had a testicular tumor, benign, size of a chicken egg, and he's getting a disease that actually generally hits only women and gets them right there on their vulvae. AMF tumors rarely turn malignant, so the Chinese guy is actually doing fine, and he's being monitored every 6 months. That said, with his condition and the fact that he had a chicken egg tumor, I kind of doubt he's getting laid. Comedy! 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 That's what we do on Dave's Gone By. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Time, here in the Daverhood. This is our 999th episode of the program. We're calling it, what the hell are we calling it? We're calling it KON Artist, K-O-N, in honor of the art of comedy being done by our guest Dave Konig, who will be with us in just a couple of minutes, talking with Rabbi Sol Solomon. So let's do one or two more of our Greeley criminalities. A caller. Oh, wait, I gotta get the. Here's a frog phone. A caller on 8th Street saw two men throwing rocks at each other. The caller was worried they would hurt someone or hit a vehicle. I kind of want. That is kind of a funny thing to have a couple of guys and they're just pelting each other with rocks. Even if they get hurt a little bit, you gotta admit you want to pull up a chair, grab a beer or something, some popcorn, and just watch two guys pelt each other with rocks. Because fistfights are a little scary and they're not, they're kind of ugly. Weapons are awful, but just picking up rocks is like, I think I could see that. With all due respect to people who've read Shirley Jackson's The Lottery and realize that stones, you don't want to see people pelted with stones, but rocks, okay. All right, let's do one or two more. Oh, this caller is at a liquor store. Liquor, I hardly know her. A liquor store on 29th Street said the employee was drunk and started yelling at the caller. So if you're at a liquor store and, because it's one thing if they give you free food at a restaurant, right? It's one thing, and that bar rescue show is like, you don't take shots with your customers if you're behind the bar serving drinks. But at a liquor store, if an employee is drunk, I think that's a problem. I don't think it's kind of the same of like if you're in a jewelry store and you see the woman, it's like, oh yeah, see, I'm wearing it. I mean, so this is how it looks on me. It'll probably look great on you. No, or yes, I've been using the Vulva Bomb for 3 weeks, and if I tell you the itch that I used to have, no, you really probably don't want to go into a liquor store and encounter someone who's like, yeah, oh my God, the latest batch of Jack Daniels is freaking awesome. I don't think we generally want that. Last one. Ba-da-da-da. A caller at an unknown address was a home caregiver. She reported a client with a dog that has issues with all the caregivers and had recently bitten one. That's an issue. Believe me, having dealt and dealing with caregivers and things like that, you don't think of it. You think of the mailman being, hold the dog back, put it on a leash. Mailmen have to be really careful, or workmen who come in to a house to do stuff. But you don't figure, like somebody coming in to look at the old man and change his diaper and whatever, is like, whoa, Chowser is going to come nipping at her leg or something. So, yeah. I don't know why I named the dog Chowser. It's like, I never heard that at all. But anyway, we're going to say ciao to this segment of Dave's Gone By this week. It's Saturday, September 13th, 2025. And my friends, that was Greeley Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool.
No.
I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi!
Yippee-yi, 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 yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, yes, you're watching the Dave's Gone By program, our 999th episode. So next week, we're going to party like this was 999, because it is. And we have Colorado Limerick of the Damned coming up. We have Dave's Big Dictionary to do, where the word is going to be consummate. And then we've got... Yeah, before we get to the interview, we have to talk about this. So, for more than 2 months now, 2.5 months I think it's been, I was not patronizing Mission Barbecue. Not for any political reasons, not for any things about the quality of the food or whatever, but Mission Barbecue is this chain. And it's very big in Maryland, and I think there's probably even one in New York now. Mission Barbecue, known for ribs, and what I like them for is they also have, every few weeks they change up.
Give me the pen for a second?
Yeah, they're black plate special. And what it means is it's not something that's not regularly on the menu. that they'll do for 6 weeks or something like that. And very often, what the Black Plate Special will be is a really nice piece of steak. They'll do a ribeye, right, and it'll be smoked, because they smoke everything. It's a barbecue place. But it's a smoked ribeye either rubbed with
So while you're
coffee
telling
or
this story, I
espresso.
want you to hold this.
All right, hold on. Yeah, wait, you do it.
No, you can hold it and you can confess when you're. I think because so you don't want to misrepresent. So.
Brilliant. So I was, I miss, but the problem also with the Black Plate Specials at Mission is sometimes they do things that aren't steak and aren't prime rib. Imagine being able to go into a restaurant and get a prime rib, a tasty one for like $15 in this day and age. It's kind of tough, but Mission was doing this. That's part of the cool thing. So if you didn't want to get ribs or stuff like that, you got the Black Plate and you got a nice deal of a delicious piece of meat. I'm like, yes. And almost every week I would go there and do this. But then Mission sometimes changes things up. You don't miss the water till the well runs dry. And suddenly they'll have like meatloaf. Now meatloaf I like meatloaf, smoked meatloaf. There's nothing wrong with meatloaf. My wife's just showing me Mission at its best. But I'm like, I'm not going to go and schlep and pay $14 for friggin' even smoked meatloaf. It's not a ribeye steak. It's not, some special thing. And then they'll have shrimp, right? Shrimp on the barbie. And it literally is shrimp on the barbie, like 7 or 8 shrimp in a little container for $14 or $15. I'm like, yeah, this tastes pretty good, but what the hell? This is not why I'm coming to Mission Barbecue. I like my meat. I love my meat. I need meat. So I'll avoid the place when they're not doing a very cool Black Plate Special. Well, right after Labor Day, they changed.
There's also a whole
what?
Bring Back the Mississippi Mud Pie campaign, apparently.
All right, they're into that. I don't go there for dessert either. I've had their cobbler, and it's okay. I've had their sides, they're fine. They have an iced tea pump and stuff like that. Good, God bless them. And they do have a ketchup fountain, come to think of it. But, I'm there for the meat, the cow. Give me the steer. And not the bum steer, the steer. So, after Labor Day, they brought back one of their ribeye specials. The one that is rubbed with espresso coffee. So I'm like, yeah, yes. So I go back there. I'm like, and it's been a while. I've been sort of going through withdrawals ultimately of not being able to go in there and get my steak. So I order it, and I put in the order, and I tell them, because once or twice they make it way too well done, and I tell them, please, medium, because it's like a fast food establishment, and they kind of give you what they give you. They show you.
I gave it a love. They sent you the picture of the fast food, and they gave it a love.
They literally, before they serve it to you, they open up the box, because we're doing it for takeout, and they show you the steak. But what are you going to do? Say, well, that's not a steak. Send it back. So you just accept and say thank you. But sometimes it's a little too well done. And this time, it looked a little small-ish, but it was cooked, seemed to be cooked perfectly. Yeah.
Remember your sign.
Well, so far, the thing was, we're sitting in the car, having our lunch, because we like to eat in the car rather than these crowded establishments sometimes. And my wife is having her, because she's a vegetarian, so she'll be having her salad or her yogurt and enjoying that. And me, I thought I had carved into my steak. And then within a few minutes, I looked, and there's no steak. They never actually served it to me. They gave me a box of sauces, they had different kind of barbecue sauces, and I saw that, and they give you a wrapped up hunk of cornbread, which is perfectly nice, but it's not.
Okay.
But for some insane reason, I go in there, I have everything but the steak. They didn't give me any food at all in my order. I don't know why they did that, and I don't know how I didn't notice it. How did I walk out of there with an empty box? I guess the weight of the sauces kind of fooled me, if you will. But that is disturbing that I can go into this restaurant establishment, ask for a piece of pay. I have the receipt, and they raise the price of the damn things, which does not make me happy. It was a really good deal, like about $14. Not such a great deal at $16, but for gosh sakes, if I'm going to order it and I want to enjoy it, give me steak. Put some steak in there. Don't, you know. So I was upset. I was you know, pretty upset about that. I may give them another chance. I'm not sure. I may go back there and order another steak that I didn't eat. But yeah, I do have to say, when I dreamed about eating the steak last week from Mission Barbecue, it was perfectly cooked and really delicious. A little small for the portion and for the new price, but I did dream that it tasted very, very nice. So yay. So that was our story. We went back to Mission Barbecue. Anything else happen this week before we get to the interview? Did anything we could talk about?
The yard sale. Did we go last week?
Yeah. There was one yard sale. We went into a house that was really nicely, whatever, but we didn't get it.
Bring them out to you. Show them next time.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Tell them about your 1,000 show coming up.
Yeah, I talked about that for like the first 20 minutes. So there's more to talk about of that. I mean, do you have any? Because I told them you'd be decorating, but do you have any ideas? We talked about it. I didn't give away a couple.
I want to keep it secret.
Okay.
We have a lot of fun and games.
And it should be a very, very enjoyable, celebratory episode next Saturday from 9 until probably 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll see. Next Saturday is going to be one of those monster shows. I can feel it because we already have. So far, it's only about half a dozen or 10 or so guests who have promised to take part. But I imagine we'll at least double that. And who knows? We may get a groundswell this weekend and suddenly be like, oh my God, I can't even give them all 3 minutes. We'll see. We'll see. But definitely tune in next show. But as I said, that doesn't mean this 999th episode is chopped liver. Although I do like chopped liver. But, is this? Oh! Okay. This is...
Show them Hubert.
Yeah. Okay. Swedish album covers are some of the very best ever. There's Stefan and Hubert. Yeah. Gotta love the snake and Hubert's hair. Maybe some of the greatest things ever. But let me, without further ado or don't, let's get to our guest in the Daverhood. So this week, we are bringing back a funny guy, and a guy who was on our program back in July of 2011, back when he was appearing in his own off-Broadway stand-up comedy show called Hebrew School Dropout. Let's see, what else has he been up to? Dave Konig did another show called Addicted to Show Business a little over a decade ago at a theater in Midtown. He also appeared in Boardwalk Empire, Crashing, The Blacklist, and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. He wrote a novel a couple of years ago called Good Luck, Mr. Gorski, and he's developed that into a screenplay that he's trying to sell. But the novel's now in its second printing, its second edition. And he's never stopped doing the stand-up comedy stuff, including spending much of his year on luxury cruises, like Norwegian and places like that, going to these wonderful places. And you're on a cruise, you have entertainers, like we watched that show, something, is it not Paradise? What
It's like I don't know what it's called.
It's a murder mystery on BritBox, where they have this lounge singer guy who also is like a former detective, so he's solving all these murders.
He was a former cop, I think.
Oh, former cop, and he solves all these murders with the help of the woman who's helping run the ship, and there's a love story and blah blah blah. But it makes you kind of wonder about cruise ships, and Dave Konig will tell you about what it is to be on a cruise ship for like a week and be the comedian there. So how often you perform, what are you doing? He'll talk about all that, plus the state of stand-up comedy today, plus his life, plus all these other things with our beloved Rabbi Sol Solomon. Now, Rabbi Sol founded and runs Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York, but he's out here in Maryland with me when he does these interviews, and he's here to talk with Dave Konig on Dave's Gone By. So I'm just going to load that up because they did the chat a day or two ago. So let me just get rid of this and make sure nothing else shows up, which is fine. La 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 la. Okay. I'm going to have to share my screen now. Right, crocky. Screen share time. Right, I've got to open this up. Get that loaded. Right. Boy, crikey. And now, please welcome to the Daverhood Rabbi Sol Solomon and comedian Dave Konig. Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder, spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And if you wouldn't remember his face, because back when we had this man on our show in 2011, it was radio. You couldn't even see him. You had to imagine this beautiful Purim in front of us. But now, oh, you can see him and hear him. And by the way, if you want to see him and hear him, not just on this screen here, but live, you got to go to the Comedy Village, which is a club in Midtown Manhattan over on West 44th Street. He is playing this Thursday, September 18th. So go see. This man, by the way, is Dave Konig. Back when he was on a program years ago, he had been doing an off-Broadway show called Hebrew School Dropout, which we talked to him about then. Since then, my God, he did another show called Addicted to Show Business. He's been singing The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Broadwalk Empire, Crashing the Black. Oh, please, what? Yeah, I'm
just gesturing with emphasis to everything.
Emphasis. He wrote a novel. Did you guys write a novel? He wrote a novel that he also adapted into an award-winning screenplay. So we're going to talk about that as well. He has also never stopped doing the stand-up thing, which is very tough to do in a place that he often does it because he's on a ship, and it's kind of hard to stand up with a boat going like this and like this and like this. Please welcome back to the Daverhood, Dave Konig. Shalom, Dave.
Shalom, Rabbi. I had no idea. I didn't even know you were Jewish, so this is fantastic.
It is, it's a giveaway. It's the nose and the pants. You're Jewish too, aren't you? Of course you are.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you have, at this point in your life and career, are there any things you celebrate, or are you just cultural?
Jewish, that is?
Yeah, Jewish, that is.
Yes. No, I'm in show business, so, I perform on Friday nights, and yes. So,
wait. Yom Kippur, too?
If I'm booked on Yom Kippur, I'm going out on that stage, yes.
Oh, my God. How would your parents feel about that? Are they still...
Dead. Who cares? Move on.
Who cares? They're dead. Move on. This is... Oh, my God. All right.
How would my parents feel about it? What are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't know what that means. We're talking about Judaism, except for...
My father was 5'2", 125 pounds. My mother was 5 foot, 250 pounds.
Really?
When they walked down the street, they looked like the number 10.
Yes, thank you very much. When they actually...
Rabbi, if you don't bump once more, I close the laptop. No badum bumps.
No badum bump. That was begging for a badum bump. Then, you don't tell it. And by the way, was it a complete joke, or was it...
No, Rabbi, in all seriousness, badum bump is very insulting to a comedian. It's like an insult.
Is it really?
No comedian wants to hear a badum bump after every joke.
Oh, all right, fair enough. But my question is, how much of that...
You learned something today. You learned something.
I never learned anything. At this stage of my life, I teach or I don't learn nothing. I'm just there to spew. Yeah. But
what do you teach, Rabbi?
What? Sorry?
What do you teach?
Oh my God! I
what do you teach? You're a teacher. What do you teach? Math? Do you teach it? I'm just asking the question.
Okay,
what's the matter with you? What do you teach?
I teach intolerance. I teach sometimes Hebrew, but incorrect Hebrew. because you're not supposed to get it completely correct because it's God's language and you want to talk His language. I teach interesting different things. My only question for you, and I would love to get an answer to, is how much of the joke that you just told was true and how much was were your parents really short and your father skinny? Or
My
all of
father,
it was, yeah.
Oh, it was all true. My father was 5'2". He was a short man. They made Jews shorter back then, Rabbi. Yeah. And my mother was 5 foot on a good day. Yes.
So it really was, and there was truth in the joke. You didn't just go with a completely random joke there. That's interesting. That's good. So do you have brothers and sisters?
No, I'm an only child.
But you have children. This is a lot.
I have 4 kids, which is entirely too many.
And, are any of them? I know one of them did the editing on your reel. How many of them are in the showbiz? Yeah.
3 out of the 4, and the 4th one's a newspaper reporter, a journalist. So they're all in the arts.
All 4 on showbiz. So what are they all do? Is any a comedian? Is any an actor?
Yeah. My 2 youngest sons are comedians and film. One of them is a filmmaker. The other's an actor. They're both brilliant at comedy. And my daughter is a producer. And then my oldest son is a newspaper reporter. I'm very proud of all of them. It's a lot of kids, though. You don't really need that many. It's ostentatious, frankly.
So
you got 4 kids. Rabbi, you got 4 kids. You're approaching Von Trapp family singers territory. Basically. You got 4 kids. They should be wearing lederhosen and singing Edelweiss.
Except they're Jewish, so it's more of the sound of mucus is what you're talking about there. I'll do my own ba-dum-bum. See, damn it, I'm not insulted by it. I use it.
You can have all the ba-dum-bumps you want, Rabbi. All the ba-dum-bumps you want.
But did you give your kids advice early on and say, don't go into showbiz, or if you do go into showbiz,
The honest answer is I was a child actor. I was a professional child actor. So I know a little something about it. And when my 3rd kid came to me when he was about 9 years old, and he said, I want to go into show business. I want to be professional. And so I said to him, I said, well, listen, here's the thing. And this is, by the way, if there's anyone listening who's got kids and you want to get your kid in show business, I'm going to give you the best advice. So here's the thing. I said, you could do that. I said, I could get you an agent tomorrow. I could take it to my agent tomorrow and they'd sign you up. You're fantastic. You're adorable. I said, and you would probably work. You'd probably get some work. I said, but you would if you went to school, after school, you'd be in rehearsals, you'd be in auditions, you'd be in performances, you'd be on a set. You wouldn't get to do any of the fun things you like to do. You wouldn't get to hang out with your friends. You wouldn't get to play baseball. You wouldn't get to do any normal child stuff. Or, here's the other way to go. You do all the school plays. You do theater camp in the summer. You're performing with other kids. You're still going to school, and you're in show business. You're acting, and you still get to go play Little League and play baseball and have a normal childhood. And it's this, and even better, if you do all the child theater stuff, you're going to be playing Tevye. You're going to be playing Nathan Detroit. I said, I never got to play Nathan Detroit when I was a kid. I was the kid in the real show. So I was the kid. So I had some kid lines, and then I was off the stage. You're going to get to play all the great musicals, all the great shows that, children's theater does.
You'll be in the chorus of The Music Man. Good luck. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So at any rate, so that was the advice I gave my kid. Well, and
all 4 of them took it. All 4 of them were...
I'm their father. What choice did they have? I'm the parent.
Yeah. Well, do they have a mother? Because, kids...
No, they vetoed it. And then I had to take my kids and I'm their father. And then, I said, this is it.
True. So do you feel that you missed out on a childhood? Do you feel like you missed little... Yes. Really? Yeah. You regret it, honestly.
Yeah.
You're...
No, exactly right. I was a professional. So if you're a professional child actor, you're a professional actor. You're working. God willing, you're working. So you're subject to all the pressures, all the rejections, all the surus that adult actors go through. And if you know any adult actors, we're all nuts, we're all insane. It's driven us all crazy. Well, it's the same for kids. Same exact business.
Yeah.
Same exact pressures, same exact trouble. It's the same for children, and only they're even more subject to insanity because they're kids.
So how was the transition for you of moving from being a cute kid who was cast as a cute kid, now suddenly you're in college, now you're a grown-up?
You're assuming I went to college, Rabbi. No, it was incredibly awkward. I'll tell you, I remember going, I was sent on an audition for a Broadway show, Shenandoah. There's a boy's part in Shenandoah. My agent had not actually seen me in person in about a year. You know, only on the phone, whatever. So I go on this audition. He hadn't seen me in a year. I was about 13 at the time. I was about 3 feet taller than every other kid auditioning for the part. It was a little ridiculous. So yeah, you know, you go through all of that stuff.
Was that the one? It was the revival with the guy from Northern Exposure? Was that the one with?
I didn't get the part, so I don't know. I have no idea.
You don't want to know. That's right. and soon you can play the father in Shenandoah. You're at the age where you could do it.
Assuming there's a father in the show, which I've never seen, yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
Are you resentful of parts you didn't get?
No.
Really? How do you not? How do you see that something became a hit?
Well, I grew up. I matured as a human being.
You matured? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, when I was younger, I did. When I was a little kid, when I was a kid, there was a kid who I would audition for big jobs, and this other kid always got the jobs that I auditioned. You know, there was some big. I don't know. There was a gangster film with an all-child cast called Bugsy Malone.
Bugsy Malone with Jodie Foster. Yeah.
Right. And there was, I think, Bad News Bears. I was up for that. You know, all these films I was up for. But there was this kid, Alfred Lutterer. He would get all the parts. So, you know, he did quite well for himself as a child. And so recently, I must admit, I have to confess, his name popped in my head. I said, let me see whatever happened to Alfred Lutterer, you know, because he was my rival when I was a kid. I think he's a Ford dealer now out in Encino. So, you know, God bless him.
So he's still doing better than you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, he's still doing better than me.
Okay. Now, speaking of what you've been doing, how did you get on the circuit? Because people don't think of this. They think you're a stand-up comedian. You go to various clubs across America. You know, you go on, you know, and that's it. That's or you get a gig on TV. You are out on the ocean half the time. How did that all start?
Well, during the pandemic, or towards the end of the pandemic, I shot a special just as the things were starting to open up. I shot a special for a company called Dry Bar Comedy. Do you know what this is?
Please share.
Dry Bar Comedy is a company that out of Provo, Utah, and it was started by Mormons, started by a couple of Mormon guys.
Yeah. And
the Mormon guys love stand-up comedy, but they couldn't go to a comedy club with their family and watch comedy because it's too dirty, et cetera. So they opened they would book. We're not necessarily Mormons. They were just regular comics, but comics who perform, quote unquote, clean. Now, turns out that Mormons, who knew, are extremely good at the internet. They're brilliant at computer stuff. So they started putting their clean comedy online. Company grew and grew and grew. And they cornered the market on quote unquote clean comedy.
Yeah.
And now they're like a multi-gazillion dollar, you know, huge company. So they booked me to go down there and do a comedy special. And before you go down there, they send you a videotape. And the videotape explains what to do and not to do when you shoot your comedy special, right? So they go through, you know, what is clean and what is Dry Bar clean, you know. And this is a great company. I'm not knocking them at all. They're terrific. But they go through the list of things. And they say, you know, it's obvious, no cursing, nothing raunchy, no raunchy sex. Okay, I mean, it's fine because if you're a stand-up comic and you can't work clean, you're not going to get much work anyway. You know, there's so many gigs I do where that's the requirement. But they get into the no dark topics. Well, what are dark topics?
Everything.
Well, death, no murder. You know, dark. You know.
And this is Utah. in Utah, no being shot in the neck. They're really,
Right.
they're
Oh,
definitely.
yeah, no, that's a really awful joke, Rabbi, and I'm
Thank
going to
you.
call you on that one. Don't
Thank
even
you
give
very
yourself a badoom bump on that. So, so I go down to Provo, Utah, and you got to do 2 shows, an 8 o'clock and a 10 o'clock. You do the same set. They film them both. They edited them, the best of each, put it together. And so you kind of threw me with that. So anyway, I do my 8 o'clock show, and I end with this bit I do about my visit to the iPhone store, and I have to get my phone repaired. I finish the routine, huge laugh, big applause, thank you, good night, and I walk off the stage. 10 o'clock show, exact same set. I do the iPhone routine, and for whatever reasons, molecules in the air, it gets a laugh, but it doesn't get the big laugh I need to get off the stage. So I rifle through the filing cabinet real fast, and I need to pull something out to end the show.
A big closer, yeah.
So I pull out this routine, and I'm not going to do it for you, but it's a routine about where I kind of rope the audience into a very poignant moment about the longevity of love and marriage, and my grandparents are married for 72 years, and it's the thing where old married couples married forever. One of them goes, the other one goes right after, but it's like they can't live without each other. It's true love. My grandparents, 72 years. One night, my grandmother just passed away. My grandfather died 10 minutes later. True love. Granted, in their case, it was a murder-suicide, but still, boom, huge, tremendous, the place explodes. Mitt Romney presents me with an oversized check, and I'm a hero to the Mormon people. They go nuts. And the director comes running up to me. This young Mormon girl comes running up to me. She says, I know exactly how we're going to edit your special. We're going to end with that murder-suicide bit. It's great. So no dark topics, but my Mormon special ends with murder-suicide. Good night, everybody.
I thought the end of that story was going to be made you cut it and use the other.
No, the end of the story is the end I just told you. That's the end of the story.
Good
Now,
for them.
what I said is the end of the story.
Good. Oh, good. That is not what I expected. But a comedian.
Well, that's what makes it a good story.
Yeah.
If it ended with what you expected, I wouldn't even be telling the story.
Fair enough. So you were known for clean comedy, but we were getting to how this special that you shot for the Dry Bar Comedy people got you on a boat or boats.
Now this is a much shorter and much less interesting story. So the special came out; it was a big hit, and I got it to a cruise ship agent, and he put me on the boats. That's the story. But the thing about the cruise ships is, there's 2 different kinds of ships. There's there's the luxury ships, the high class luxury ships, and then there's everything else. I'm on the high class luxury ships, so I'm on the classy, nice ships. Yeah. So it's a great circuit because it's the only circuit left. There's no other circuits for a comic. There's no more opening for Tom Jones for 30 weeks a year. There's no more Playboy Club circuit. All the circuit. There's no more really like the 1980s had the comedy boom where you had these chains of comedy clubs all around the country. None of that exists anymore. So if you're a comic and you don't and you want to make a living, the cruise ships is the way to go.
All right, here's a question that I got to understand. A cruise, one particular cruise, it leaves and it goes for what? A week, 2 weeks?
A week, generally. Yeah, generally a week.
So you do your act, and you have let's say a 45-minute, 75-minute act, and
2 45-minute sets.
2 separate 45-minute
2 separate 45-minute sets.
And you're there on the boat for a week and a half, 2 weeks. What do you do the third day? What are you there
Anything
for?
I want. Anything I want. I'm there to do my 2 45-minute sets. The rest of the time is my time. I do whatever the hell I want. I go to the spa. I sit on the deck. I go have the food. I do everything, whatever the hell I want.
You're not expected to perform every night. You get your gigs done, and the rest of the cruise you just enjoying cruise.
So you go on a cruise, and you're on for a week. Monday night, you go to the theater, beautiful 700-seat theater, Broadway house, state-of-the-art, lights, sound, and say you got a singer that night. Yay. Tuesday night, you go back, you got me, you got comedy. Wednesday night, you go back, it's a whole production show, it's kids singing, dancing, standing on their heads. Thursday night, you go back, maybe there's a magician. Friday night, you go back, me again, doing it.
With a different act, with a...
Different 45 minutes.
Right.
See, that's the thing. You got to have 2 45-minute sets clean, you know. That's what separates the men from the boys. Not everybody's got that. Not everybody can do that.
So, I mean, it sounds like a wonderful... Do you love it? I mean, is it... especially when you've done your...
I love everything about it except for the traveling in between the boats. Because I got to fly. I'm constantly flying to get to the boats and get away and get back from the boats. So that's the big drag. I mean, my last ship let me off in Vancouver, and then I had to fly home to New York, and I had a flight that was just... you know how like the CIA can't waterboard terrorists anymore? Now they just put them on Spirit, Vancouver to New York. So, you know, it's a whole different world out there.
I am not giving you a bum on that. I could have, but I'm not.
I'm still here.
For you. Yes, I respect.
Thank you, sir.
But I'm bummed that. But it was worthy of a bum. So I mean, it does sound like a pretty great way. What's the matter? A great way to make a living.
It's not a bad racket. It's a pretty good racket, yeah.
And you can do that
racket.
how many weeks
Yep.
out of, because there are only so many cruise lines, how many weeks out of the year can you book?
I'm on the boats 35. I'm on the boats easily 35 weeks a year. I'm constant. I go from boat to boat to boat to boat. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds
It's
pretty...
a good racket.
So you gotta share. What are some fun, either when you were on stage performing it in this situation, or just vacationing, if you will, paid vacation, on any funny stories with passengers, any insane, scary things that happened? Were you on the Carnival Poop Cruise? What happened? Yeah.
I was on a cruise just a couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks, or a month ago, something like that. I was way up in Alaska, way out west. No, that was the Aleutian. I was in the Aleutian Islands, and then a couple of weeks later, I was in Alaska in the Inside Passage there. At any rate, I'm in Alaska, and I get a text message from my daughter saying, there's a tsunami alert, and there's a tsunami that's going to hit Alaska. And it was the night there was a big earthquake in Russia, like a 9-point earthquake. This is only a few weeks ago. And there was a tsunami alert for the entire West Coast. And Alaska was right in the line of fire. And so I had about 5 minutes before we all figured out, well, we're on the Inside Passage. There's no way, a tsunami would have to go over mountain ranges to reach us. So we were perfectly safe. And as it turned out, there was no tsunami. But for about 5 minutes, it was exciting.
All right.
The rest of the time, I'm sitting around eating food and fat.
How do you not? Here's a question for you. Since you live 30 months out of the year on a boat, how do you not get
30 months out of the year? That's a long time, Rabbi. How's that?
How do you not balloon? Because all there is to do is eat. How do you not go to the buffet 7 times a day and just go nom nom?
I don't know. It's called being a grown-up, I guess.
All right. Okay.
But listen, you can get heavy out there. There's a lot of food out there. And remember that? You remember the Costa Concordia, the ship in Italy that tipped over?
No.
It was a big news story, Rabbi. So there was the Costa Concordia. You know what happened with that ship?
No, I don't. No.
It was a design issue. Instead of putting the buffet in the middle of the ship, they put it on the side. First meal, stampede, boom, down the whole thing went. So you can get heavy out there.
And it was Jewish passengers, Chinese takeaway. It was just, forget it. It was gone. It was over. Oh, there it was. So, and then I'll leave the cruise ship stuff alone, but are you, because you're a comedian, when you're on the ship and not performing and they see you, are you expected, or do they expect you, or do the ship's people or the people who booked you expect you to tummel and be sort of like tummel with the passenger? No, you get to just,
I'm there to do my act. I'm just like a singer's there to sing, and a juggler's there to juggle, and a magician's there to make things disappear. I go out, I do my act, and then when people come up to me on the ship, say, "I saw your show. It was very funny." I'm polite to them, and I make small talk and all that. But no, it's.
But you're not obligated to do.
I'm not working in the kitchen, washing dishes after the show. Nothing like that.
By the way, we're talking with Dave Konig, the comedian. You don't have to go on a boat to see him. you can, this week, like on Thursday, September 18th, go to Comedy Village. I never even heard of this place. Caroline's is gone. I'm going to talk to you about comedy clubs in New York.
Comedy Village is a great new club. It's on 44th Street. It's really a sweet little club, and it's run by a comic, PJ Landers, who's a great guy. And so he really knows how to run a comedy club because he's a comic himself. So it's a really nice club, and I'll be there September 18th, 7:30 p.m. Go to comedyvillage.com.
Come and get your tickets, comedyvillage.com. We have a couple more minutes, I hope, with Dave Konig here. So I want to tell you, first of all, you say, oh, it's run by a comic. He knows how to run a comedy. Well, if you were running a comedy club, what would you ensure? Like, what would you do to make sure it was a good place for comedians and for audiences to enjoy?
The number one thing, and this is why I like this guy PJ and I like his club, Comedy Village, on West 44th in New York City. The number one thing is people go to a comedy club. They've been spoiled by YouTube, and they see these clips on YouTube of the comics and the hecklers, and they think, I don't know, or maybe it's part of the short attention span of the modern world, but some people think, young guys think, it's their role in life to get involved with the show.
Oh.
And they don't understand. No, it's your role in life to sit and laugh and applaud and pay your check and get the hell out. That's your role. You're the audience. We're the performers. We're the ones on stage. So when it's not really heckling, because heckling doesn't really exist. No one actually sits there and goes, "You stink. Get off the stage." It doesn't really happen. But what happens is people think it's their responsibility to get involved with the show, and they can't shut up.
And if maybe had one or two.
Happens. Yeah. When that happens, you need a large man to walk over and tap the guy on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you got to shut up." And most comedy clubs don't even bother to have that large man anymore. It's like the comic is on his own. You're a lion's tamer up there, So that's what I would do. Just, it's good to have a large man who comes over and says, "Hey, this is not about you. Why don't you shut up?" Yeah.
Used to be the large man had a big Italian name and a nickname, and he was packing something.
Yeah, Tiny would come over but so at any rate, this is why I like this guy's club, because he takes care of the details like that. And he's. But is it really
true that so many of the clubs all across there's no circuit? I mean, we're in Maryland here, and I'm busy. I'm not in Great Neck, but there's a club called Magooby's Joke House down the road, and then in Long Island you got Governors. I think still.
What I mean by that is it's in the 1980s there was a big comedy boom, and when all the discos from the 70s went, disco was gone, and all of a sudden everybody realized, all I need to do is have a light and a microphone, and I can put a comic in the corner, and they'll put on a show. And then that ended up being part of the initiative to create this big boom, where suddenly there was hundreds of comedy clubs all over America, and there was chains, and so you could, if you were a headlining comic, you could get in on that racket and sign up for several weeks, and you're touring around. That kind of thing doesn't really exist anymore. No, the business has changed. Yeah.
Did you ever stay in a comedy condo?
No, I did not. I was in a comedy rental, and then I went comedy co-op, and I had to move out.
Got it. Okay. All right. By the way, you were also a member up until, I guess, the very, very end, like a year or two ago, of the Friars Club. Do you miss that? What was it special? What was, like being...
The thing I liked about the Friars... I'll tell you what I liked about the Friars Club. The thing I liked about the Friars Club is we would do shows actually in the club itself, in the dining room there. It holds maybe 200 people. We would do these shows ostensibly for charity. And you would get the opportunity to perform. I would do shows, like there was one night I was, I'm on the bill. There's other comics of my peers on the bill. But then also on the bill was Stiller and Mira, and it was their first performance together in decades, and their last performance together ever on stage. And I was on the bill with them. So they got up and they did about 10 minutes, and they ad-libbed some stuff, and they were very funny and very sweet. And so the opportunity to work with people like that in these unusual circumstances, I'm not going to get that anywhere else. So that's what the Friars Club was. I'll give you another Friars Club thing. I'm at the Friars Club. There's some event. I can't remember what it was. big celebrity-studded event. And Jeffrey Ross, comedian Jeffrey Ross.
He's on Broadway
comes in
right
with-
now. He's take a
On Broadway?
ride. Yeah.
And he's on. He walks in with Robert De Niro. De Niro is a big comedy nut, so he's got Robert. And we were warned. People were told in advance, don't pester. De Niro's going to be here. Don't pester him. Leave him alone. You know. All right. So I'm in this crowded lobby of the Friars Club. Larry Storch is there and Larry Storch is, at that time was about 140 years old. And I knew Larry and I'd worked with Larry. And so Jeffrey, I'm standing there with Larry Storch. Jeffrey walks in with Robert De Niro. Larry Storch looks and goes, he says to me, is that Robert De Niro? And me being, a wise guy, I said, yeah. I said, you want to meet him? I said, hey, Robert, now this is the only place in the world these words were ever uttered. Robert De Niro, Larry Storch, Robert De Niro. And you know what De Niro says? He says, Larry Storch, you're my favorite. I love you. And they hugged and kissed, and it was great. So those kind of things only would happen at the Friars. Yeah.
Was it when you performed though at the Friars or those times? Does something go through your head? You get more nervous or less if you suddenly realize you're performing in front of Freddie Roman or Henny Youngman or
I was performing with Freddie Roman, not in front of him. I was with him.
Well,
Yeah.
well, no, you didn't tag. I mean, he would have been waiting on this. I mean, you were on the bill. I assume when you were performing.
I mean, me and Freddie weren't doing a soft shoe routine together, but yeah, I did many shows with Freddie.
All right, but what about other legends like a Robert Klein or I don't know who else is.
Yes, I've worked with Robert Klein. In fact, I did a big Friars show once at the Hotel Pierre in New York. It was a big show, and it was an all-star-studded cast, and Tony Orlando was the MC, and Frankie Valli was on the bill, and Leni Kazan, and at any rate, Robert Klein, Gilbert Gottfried, Dick Capri, I was on the bill, and I just remember that show being a big one for me because I really wanted it to go well, and it did. And I got off and they all knew that I was, that this was something at any rate, I got off the stage, and Robert Klein, who I'm not pals with Robert Klein at all. We had met a couple of times, but he gave me a big hug. He said, "Oh my God, that was great." And Gilbert, and so it was really nice. You get those moments as well, these little graduation moments. So that was one of them. Yeah.
Mazel. That's what it was all. It's a shame that the Friars is no longer.
Time marches on.
It does. So what is for you, Dave Konig? What is marching on for you? What is in the next 3 to 6 months have where people can beyond September 18th?
I got to call a doctor about a biopsy, but aside from that, I got the show September 18th, and I hit the road again and I'm back out on the circuit, on the cruise ship circuit.
Any guest shots on TV or in film or any of those things that we can look for? Things you've already taped, maybe that haven't come out yet?
Well, go to my website. You can see all my TV stuff on there, davekonig.com. I paid a focus group $36,000 to come up with that. Dave Konig, KONIG.com. So go there. You can see all my TV clips there.
Konig is the king of comedy. Let me remind you one more time that this Thursday, September 18th, he's live in person at the Comedy Village. It's 352 West 44th Street, which I believe puts it between 8th and 9th Avenue.
That sounds about right to me.
Sounds about right to me, too. It's 2-drink minimum, so don't be cheap. Get 2 full glasses of borscht, and laugh and applaud, and don't heckle, and don't think you're part of the act. He's the funny one. Let him be funny. But do applaud and do laugh. So my last question for you,
yes, sir,
Dave Konig, is, it's such a messed up world that we're in. Does comedy help? Is it a distraction? Is it useful at all, or is it just something that pulls us away? What is the purpose of comedy in a world where we just don't know what the hell's going on?
Help?
What? Yeah.
Does comedy help? Can't hurt.
That is the best and most Jewish answer I've ever heard.
There you go.
Hashem bless you, Dave Konig. Thank you once more for joining us. Much success with your show and all your future endeavors. And Send me some food from those cruises, please.
All the best to you, Rabbi. Thank you so much.
Shalom. Bye-bye. Rabbi Sol Solomon there with Dave Konig. Let me stop the share there and get back to you live here on the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the stream, where it's about 10 until 11 in the morning here in the Daverhood, our 999th episode of the show that we are calling KON, August, for KON, K-O-N, Dave Konig. Ooh, look at this. Oh, my undies shirt is all, ooh, showing a little something for all you guys and ladies and whoever who wants to see my undershirt. This is a clean one, so you're lucky today. Anywho, so yes, we've had some fun so far on the program. We've done Greeley Times. We've had Rabbi Sol and Dave Konig. We still have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Coming up, we also have Dave's Big Dictionary. Well, I will have to speak extemporaneously regarding the word consummate. That is Merriam-Webster's choice, excuse me, for word of the day, consummate. So we've got that coming. Oh, look who's here. Oh, we have Moppy Moppelstein. Oh, whoop it. You can come, yeah, but I haven't done so give me another 5 minutes and come on out. So, but we had a special appearance there from Moppy McMoppelstein. Moppy's waving. Yeah. Usually when we tag team together, I mop the floor with him. But the humor's clean. Oh, get it? So, yeah, we've got more to do for you. But as promised or threatened, before we even get to our friends of the Daverhood or the Limerick or the word of the day, let me do a segment that I apologize for in advance, especially it becomes more and more fraught in this culture. But, you know, what I do is try to be humorous, I try to be amusing, and I have a dark streak. I have a sick, tasteless streak in me. It's part of who I am. It's part of the humor that I do. So, I'm not going to disallow that or let world worries or political stuff get in the way of that. There's certain things I don't talk about on the show in deference to my job, my wife's job, and what we do. Certain things, subjects I won't go near anymore. Sometimes Rabbi Sol will deal with them, but I've got to be, especially in the times we're living in, post-cancel culture, now into times when everything is at threat and off the rails in terms of free speech on every side of the aisle. I mean, we see where free speech got Charlie Kirk 3 days ago, and where speech against him post-shooting has gotten some people in the government and in school jobs suspended or fired. It's just like, oh my God, whatever happened? Bill Maher, a very good piece that's floating around here of saying, what happened to free speech? What happened to, as long as you're nonviolent, right, and you're not inciting or fomenting directly violent, you should be able to say what the hell you want to say, even if it's a little crazy. If it's crazy, people will look at you and go, you're crazy, and not listen, right? Hopefully. If it's not crazy, but it's just a little controversial, people will listen to you and go, all right, you got a point, but it's not really my point, okay. But this freezing of free speech and legitimate, safe, nonviolent protest, it is bothersome. But I can't help doing what I do. So, this is a segment called My Sick Mind. And I'm not going to get political per se, not going to go talking about the whole assassination that happened this week, the right of it, the wrong of it, the horror of it, the reasons for it perhaps. But what I am going to do is tell some really, really sick, tasteless, awful jokes. Because that's what I really wanted. As as Dave Konig just said, couldn't hurt. And, maybe if Spammy is listening, this could hurt their feelings. But other than that, no, folks, they're just jokes. So it's a My Sick Mind segment. They're jokes that are too soon. They're jokes that are sick. They're tasteless. But gotta do them, because that's what I do.
My sick, my sick, my sick, my sick
So if you don't want to be offended, what are you doing watching this show? But if you don't want to be offended, step away from the computer or your wherever you're listening, your phone, for a minute and a half, 2 minutes tops, because these are going to be jokes about the passing, the murder, the killing of Charlie Kirk. Yes. Here we go. Hey, was Charlie Kirk a Walmart guy? No, Target. Yeah, I'm not saying they're good jokes. They're just tasteless. What does, I think this one's clever, what does Charlie Kirk have in common with Kentucky? Rednecks. Oh, I gotta put this on something else, because it's ruining the, maybe I'll do this instead. Hey, what is Dracula's nickname for Charlie Kirk? Open bar. Think about it. Why are devout Christians holding prayer vigils at Charlie Kirk's neck? Well, it's holy. And, what does Charlie Kirk know that RFK doesn't? Shots work. Yes, a couple more of these, couple more of my sick mind. Hey, why is Charlie Kirk like the Colorado Rockies? Well, he went into a deep slump. Yep. I apologize to baseball for that joke. Why is George Takei disappointed? They took out the wrong Kirk. Hey, did Charlie Kirk change any Democrats' minds? No, but he took a shot. Let me get, I think I need the, hey, here's my trombone. Gonna get this one. After his Utah event, was Charlie Kirk planning to get drunk? He was, but instead he got blasted. And last but not least, and don't you think it's about time, was Charlie Kirk right about the Second Amendment? No, he was dead wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, that, for this Saturday morning, is my sick mind. So, speaking of sick, we do have our Colorado Limerick of the Dam coming up, but that's a little later, later in the show. No. Now we get to Dave's Big Dictionary, which is based on the original idea was that we would thumb through a dictionary that we had in the house, and my wife would put her thumb down. You okay?
Gotcha.
Ow. Thumb down randomly on a page in the dictionary, and whatever word her finger landed on, I would then have to talk about. And usually it would be early in the show, and then I'd have a little time in the back of my mind to come up with something. Make a little note or just an anecdote, just wherever my mind went with the word. So this time, haven't really thought much about it, but the word, I do want to find the actual word again. I can do it on my phone, or I can do it on, I don't need these right now, is consummate. Consummate. So let me see, Merriam-Webster word of the day. I'm going to read it to you. Consummate, C-O-N-S-U-M-M-A-T, as opposed to, and I was wrong about this, a very different word called consummate, which is one M, and which, unless you're going, when you're busy consummating something, yeah, that's me going, no. Hey, I forgot to play the intro to Dave's Big Dictionary. Extra, tell all about it. It's Dave's Big Dictionary. So consummate as an adjective is someone or something described as consummate as very skilled or accomplished, close, to the highest degree, complete in every detail, always used before the noun it describes. And invariably, I've never really heard it used with anything but professional. And so and so is the consummate, even the example here on Merriam-Webster. Ever the consummate professional, the planner ensured that no one attending the event.
Consummate guide, consummate.
A consummate, yeah. Ooh, the soup maker made the consummate consommé. Right? This is like the perfect one. Right? Chem's legacy serves as a blueprint. They always have these very long examples on here. A blueprint for excellence off stage. His charm extends beyond the microphone. Friends and collaborators describe him as a consummate gentleman with an infectious sense of humor. So let's see where the word comes from. Thank you. Consummate is a consummate example of a... Oh, that's just our blower in the back. Consummate example of a word shifted in meaning over the centuries. A 15th century addition to the language, ultimately from the Latin word consumare, meaning to sum up, to finish. Sum. The word first describes something that has been brought to completion. Shakespeare used it in Measure for Measure. Do you, the office friar, which consummate, return him here again? And this is why kids hate Shakespeare. I have no idea what the fuck that line means. Do you, the office friar, wait, there's a comma after office. Do you, the office friar, which consummate, return him here again? So I guess it kind of means in there, go do this.
Consummate.
Once you've done it, and you've made it happen perfectly, return the friar.
I thought it meant that the friar was an expert.
I guess. Yeah, the friar's consummate at doing what he does. By the early 16th century, the word had taken on the meaning of complete in every detail. Today, it usually describes someone or someone skilled and accomplished to the extreme, the way something is supremely excellent. I mean, it keeps saying the same thing here. Well, there you go. So now, the idea is to think about consummate. And I think we're in a world now where we don't get it. Almost ever. Like everyone that we ask to help us is just a little bit beyond our own skill set. Where, you call up for help with a website or help with a bank or help with some organization, something that you want to clear up or something that you want to buy. And 90% of the time now, what you get is people who know a bit, and I've railed about this and complained about this for quite a bit the last bunch of episodes. I'm like, you get on, and if you get the wrong person when you call for customer service, or the wrong person chatting with when I have troubles with my website and I need their hosting thing, and the wrong person will seem like they're unbelievably knowledgeable and helpful. And I talked about this specifically last week. And then they don't know what they're doing, or you're on Everhold, and they're asking somebody.
Being an imposter.
Or they know certain things, but they're not really able to help your issue. But they're going to thumper around and make believe they can.
Lack of people's assessment of their ability.
Yeah, and it's kind of like what's going to happen now, especially when we're sending over the border, or firing people, letting people go who've been doing what they've been doing. They may not have been here legally, perhaps, but at least they knew what they were doing. They do their jobs, and now who's gonna pick the fruit that's rotting on the vines, right? College kids gonna get paid $9 an hour to do that? No, I don't think so. We're gonna lose the consummate people. We don't get consummate lawyers anymore because all the people who really wanted to be lawyers got frightened by all the lawsuits, or doctors. Doctors are so scared of the insurance that they have to carry that we get specialists in certain things, and I guess they're consummate professionals on one particular thing. But the GP, as my parents would say, back when I was growing up, you have the family doctor come over with his little satchel. He'd look in your eyes, even without a thing. He'd just look at you, and he'd know 90% of the time what was wrong with you, because he'd been doing it so long, and that was his thing. He knew. Oh, I can see, you've got leprosy. Here, take this. They knew, because they were consummate professionals, consummate artistes. And now it's just everybody's kind of good enough, just barely decent enough, you know. And if you're lucky to get the one or two people in the place where you go, where they're consummate, that's a lucky thing now. It's not even to be expected anymore. Now you expect, okay, I think they're going to help me. They're going to take way too much time to do it, or it's going to take X days to figure this out when the right person could have solved it in 10 minutes. And just more and more and more of that. It's sort of like when I talked about going to the DMV last week. And, please go. And one person didn't know this, and the person online didn't know that, and the website says this, and then the chatting person on the website says that, and it's like one hand doesn't know. And then you go to the one person who wasn't particularly nice, but the one person at the place who can figure out, you need to do, you know what, I'm not even going to let you do the machine because you'll screw it up. Let me do it for you. Ding, dang, bing, bang, boom, a minute and a half, I have my registration. So there are still, maybe the combination also of great skilled people and nice, gentle, shall we say, personable and likable and friendly people, that's not intersecting anymore either. It's like, it's got to be the a-hole who knows everything and the really charming, seemingly person that you want to spend happy, quality time with, doing business with. They don't actually know what the hell they're doing half the time. It's unfortunate. It really, really is. And you would figure with all the tools we have at our disposal, computers, phones, Google, Wiki, now AI, that things would be closer to perfect than ever before. And yet it's just made people get lazier and more reliant on other things and expecting certain things that aren't done the way they ought to be. It's unfortunate. I'm sorry that I went in such a negative direction with the word consummate. But, think of the last time you really saw something that was, that really fit that word. I mean, sometimes you'll see a consummate acting performance. And this, I'm not even, I don't know why I'm connecting this, but this really is in my mind. I saw this week a movie called The Father that came out 2 or 3 years ago. And it's all about, if you haven't seen it, I think it was Oscar nominated even, that it's Olivia Colman and Anthony Hopkins. And Olivia Colman is the daughter, the grown daughter, of this older man who is old and starting to lose the thread. He lives alone initially, seemingly, and then he can't really live alone. He has to move in with her, and then she can't even have a life with him there because he's losing it. He's got Alzheimer's or whatever brain stuff happens to people his age, and he's getting worse and worse. And the whole film is kind of playing with his reality and seeing things through his lens. Is this a real scene? Did this really happen? Is this now, as you're remembering back, is this his actual other daughter? Did this happen to her? I mean, that's what makes it a more interesting film than your typical weepy, like, Diane Keaton, Sissy Spacek plays the daughter of this man who's and he has his great days, and he has his sad days, and ultimately weeping. I mean, it does go in that direction, but the journey there is much more jagged and ragged and filtered through a perspective where it's intentionally jarring because we're not knowing if what we're seeing is real because it's through this man's mindset. And, you figure of consummate performances. This is where I'm going with this. Anthony Hopkins being like Anthony Hopkins, Silence of the Lambs. Anthony Hopkins, like this consummate actor, the perfect kind of guy for it. And in some ways he is the perfect guy for this role. But I didn't know when I would get to talk about this moment, but I gotta say, if you watch the film, it's gripping, it's very good, it's touching, and so, especially at the end. He's got a big old speech with his caregiver, his caretaker, and, you can see that he's regressing to the point of everything is lost to him now. Or the past, the present, he's conflating everything. He will eventually not know who his daughter is, who he is. I mean, he realizes it, which is the great tragedy of the film, of all the people who go through this. in real life and watch other people go through it. But the thing is that the Hopkins character, the Hopkins role, he's really good in the part. Consummate actor. There are moments you can tell that he's being playful, that he is playful, that he's all there. He's kind of playing that he's all there. Moments where you see the fear, moments when you see the quick temper and the rage. I mean, all these shadings of character that he does beautifully. And yet, there is a moment when he has to regress to the point where he gets, if you've seen the film, I'm sorry to spoil it, where he's confessing to the caretaker that he has to say literally the lines, "I want my mommy. Where's my mommy? I want my mommy." Which should be devastating. It's this moment that's coming on top of some very tear-jerking stuff that he's saying. But, he's got to stand there and cry, and "I want my mommy." And I'm sorry. The moment of consummate professionalism went out of the... Anthony Hopkins crying, going, I didn't buy it for 1 minute. I didn't break into complete laughter, but it was such an on-the-nose and fakey kind of moment. And people do regress, and they do start talking in the language they spoke in when they were a child, and they do want their mothers and stuff, but using the literal phrase, "I want my mommy," and crying like a little child that wants his mommy, but not quite believably because it's Anthony Hopkins, took me out of the film for that 15 seconds or so. Kind of gave old Dave the near giggles, and showed me that even the most consummate professional cannot always be 100% on. They could have used another take on different line. Somebody should have watched that and gone, "No, we need to pull back on that just a little bit." Even he said, "I want my mother. Where's my mother?" Right? Mama, I don't know. But, in a film that is otherwise very, very carefully and precisely made and really, really well done, that moment, they changed it. It would have been a consummation devoutly to be wished. Anywho, that is my entry for Dave's Big Dictionary today on this Saturday, September 13th, 2025. You're watching the 999th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the stream here, right on this Facebook page, Dave's Gone By. Remember that all the archives can be watched at davesgoneby.com. Plus, we put all our archives at archive.org. We have a channel on this website that I have nothing to do with it. It's not my site. It's a wonderful archive of old TV shows and old radio shows and literature and art from the past thousands of years. Whatever is basically public domain or they have the right to, you can watch on archive and listen to on archive.org. If you go with the Dave's Gone By space, you can see the same stuff we have on davesgoneby.com, sometimes in higher quality because we can upload somewhat bigger files there. And also if davesgoneby.com ever goes down and we have a website issue, at least archive is up. And then there were a couple of weeks when archive got hacked and they took archive.org down, then, you still have all our stuff at davesgoneby.com. So it's nice to have two different places. You can see all our stuff. If you want to hear all the episodes and content of Dave's Gone By, go to castbox.fm. Now, this is the same material. It's the same stuff. It's just like we don't have the video. The first 17 years of the show were audio anyway. But even the last few years, Castbox is specifically for podcasting. It's for people who want to download or listen as MP3s. You're on the go. You're at the beach. You're on a train. You're on a plane. You want to hear the show. You don't necessarily want to see it or are able to see it. Listen to a Dave's Gone By episode. And one of the best ways to do that is going to castbox.fm to actually have it as a podcast. You can check our YouTube page. Almost all of our stuff is up there. Some of it has been blocked. for copyright issues of music we were playing and things like that. But most of our stuff, especially recently, is also freely available on YouTube too. And we have the Facebook page as well. Lots of ways to connect with this show and also hear and see all the archives of the sketches, the crazy things, the interviews, the monologues, the Greeley Timeses, the wretched puns of destiny, if you remember those, the news gone by that we used to do in the first years of the program. All of that. And some of that we may even be dipping into next week. And we will be dipping into in our 1000th episode that will be happening Saturday, September 20th from 9 until whenever we're done. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing you there. But we're not done with this episode of the program yet, because, we've done some things, but we've got a little bit more to do. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned coming up. But before then, let's take a moment to thank once more Dave Konig and remind you that this Thursday he is at the Comedy Village over in Midtown Manhattan. You saw him be funny on this show. Watch him be funny in front of a big crowd in a real comedy room, the Comedy Village, happening this Thursday evening. Is it Thursday or Wednesday that he's going to be? Thursday at the Comedy Village, 352 West 44th Street. So we thank so much Dave Konig for being here. We also thank Rabbi Sol Solomon. His website is shalomdammit.com. Find out more about him. Watch his stage show. Watch episodes of his hilarious TV show, shalomdammit.com. And Rabbi Sol was with us for our very first episode back in 2002. He's been with us doing our interviews, our sermons. He'll be, on some level, you'll be hearing from him next week during our 1000th show. But those are just folks who've been on this particular episode of Dave's Gone By. What about, I ask you, the folks who have been on previous episodes of the Dave's Gone By, Facebook, podcast, program, of the stream. They're friends of the Daverhood, although I consider anyone who likes or supports the show a friend of the Daverhood. Or anyone who's been on the show is really more of, my wife pointed this out, is an alumnus more than a friend. It's not, friends are people who dig the show or been on the show. Alumni are people who've been on the broadcast since we've been doing this. Well, we have hundreds, as I've been rediscovering this past week, hundreds of alumni in the Daverhood have been. In fact, the saddest part is that how many now, it was, and I've talked about this before, and I'll probably mention it again next week, like the first 5 years on the air, when we were on the radio, 24 years ago, I think we had one passing of all the guests who appeared on the program, which is pretty amazing, because it's not like we were having teenage or 20-year-old guests. We were getting people from 1960s, 70s TV and music and movies and stuff. And yet, they stayed pretty healthy, even though they were getting old. And I remember the first person that we heard of who had died, who became a skeleton on the show, was Al Aronowitz, the gonzo journalist, the guy who introduced the Beatles to Bob Dylan and provided the weed that cemented their friendship. And so when he went, it was like, wow, our first one. And he was the only one for a long time. But now, you're on the air almost a quarter of a century. People go. And it's really, when I go through year after year of the folks who've been on this program, and those, oh my God, we've lost a few. And the hardest part is finding people that I'm going to email and say, hey, do you want to be on this 1000th episode? And then, the legacy obituary comes up on the web. And it's like, oh, they passed in 2023. Crap. I feel bad because I didn't even get to mention it when it happened. But we still do have living folks, living alumni of the Daverhood. And here are, and we like to kind of tell you what they're up to. Because they're friends, they're family. What have they been doing since they've been on the show? how low the... Oh. All right. Thank you, Antonio. But yeah, he just loves to go with... I could write classical music. No, I couldn't. But anywho, what's happening with our friends of the Daverhood? Here we go. A lot of things happening this weekend. So tonight, Lucy Kaplansky is she's at the Long Island Game Farm. I know it sounds like I'm making fun, but who wouldn't want to be at a game farm before your concert? She is, of course, a folk and pop singer. The game farm is in Manorville, New York, so go see Lucy Kaplansky today. Also, Gary Lucas, a real great friend of the Daverhood, he is playing with his longtime band, Gods and Monsters, and they are at the Turning Point in Piermont, New York. I don't know if that's Westchester or upstate, but if you're in New York State and you want to see Gary Lucas, the guy who played in and kind of co-managed Captain Beefheart for a couple of years, go see him tonight. And then also, if you're out in Fort Collins, Colorado, Devin Fulford, the educator and poet, is reading from her work at Zwei Brewing in Fort Collins. Just the best way to listen to poetry is being loaded. So go to Zwei Brewing in Fort Collins for Devin Fulford reading from her work, and I'm sure signing and selling some of her books. And then tomorrow, this is interesting, Sunday, 10 in the morning, Eastern Time, all the way till 8 o'clock at night, and I know you're going to want to be part of this. It's online. The online Yiddish Song Marathon, sponsored by Workers' Circle, which used to be Workmen's Circle, but they don't want to be sexist, and Zalman Latek, the music director of, I think, the Folksbiene, he's part of it. He's playing there. I think he's being honored. The online Yiddish Song Marathon, I think they have 10 or whatever different guests, or each one takes about an hour, so you can tune in and see all these different people singing Yiddish song. Don't have the URL for that, but you can find it and look for it through Workers' Circle. And then tomorrow at 4 o'clock, if you want to take a break from, because I know I'll be listening to the Yiddish music. All Eufen Prepperchick, Brand on Fire, und Annie Korzen, our friend of the Daverhood, she was on a couple of Seinfeld episodes, and now has gone viral with her TikTok and YouTube and those kinds of postings. Well, tomorrow at 4 o'clock, it's... Bird?
Bird watching, he's watching you.
Where?
That little gray thing on the wire, he's watching.
Like a bird, watching on a wire. Hey, bird. Hey, oh, there you go. Or is that a leaf? Something just fell. Oh, there we go. Ooh, now he's on the lawn. This isn't picking, unfortunately, that. If you come closer, I could probably unplug this and take this to the back, but then they fly away anyway. But Annie Korzen, two Jews walk into a Zoom. She's part of that, and it's benefit, I guess, for a community scholar program. So just look for Annie Korzen, Korzen. That's tomorrow afternoon. And then the indefatigable Jessica Schur on Monday. She's doing her solo show, Betty Davis Ain't for Sissies, at the Triad up on West 70-something Street in Midtown Manhattan Monday night. If you happen to be in Glencoe, Illinois, go see Hershey Felder present. Oh, this is interesting. Hershey Felder is actually producing a concert by David Yazbek, and that is happening at the theater Felder runs in Glencoe, Illinois. That is Monday night. And Yazbek is also a friend of the Daverhood. Seth Bisson-Hirsch, his show, the review that he worked on, the off-Broadway musical Love Quirks, is getting its debut in London at the Other Palace Studio, running from September 18th through October 12th. And then also happening on the 18th, which is Thursday, Tom Tose is producing and hosting the Harvard-Yale Cantata at 54 Below in Midtown. Thursday, reminding you, of course, one more time, is the night that Dave Konig is going to be at Comedy Village. And then also on Thursday night, if you're not in Manhattan but elsewhere in New York, in Kingston, New York, at the Assembly, check out this pairing, Loudon Wainwright III and Chris Smither on a double bill. Wish I were there. My goodness, that's Thursday, at the Assembly in Kingston, New York. On Friday, Evelyn McDonnell will be reading from her memoir about Joan Didion. That is happening at the Page Against the Machine in Los Angeles, Page Against the Machine bookstore in L.A. Reminding you, in terms of theater, Daphne Rubin Vega is off-Broadway in Twelfth Night at Shakespeare in the Park. Randy Packer is directing Fiddler on the Roof for the Players Theater in Conroe, Texas. You have just 2 more days to catch that. The same thing with Twelfth Night. Hershey Felder wrote and stars in Rachmaninoff and the Tsar, also at the theater that he runs, the Writers Theater in Glencoe. Linda Livingston, you have 2 more opportunities to catch the show Bloomsday. She's in it at Namba Arts in Ventura, California. Aladdin on Broadway, music by Alan Menken. Little Shop of Horrors off-Broadway, music by Alan Menken. And then, of course, Jim Caruso's Cast Party every Monday night. Where? At Birdland. Get your tickets at Birdland Jazz. Birds! Birdland. They're landing everywhere here. Birdland.com. Birdlandjazz.com. Speaking of, that's a little ragtime jazz there. Charlie Gross and Leslie Hobank Blake co-hosting Two on the Aisle. Eva Heineman hosting High Drama. And then, and Evan Seplow founds and runs StageBuggy.com. David Sheward writes for TotalTheater.com. Vicky Quaggy does shows out in Chicago. Jesus Christ, it's a whole episode here. And Vince Giordano and the Nighthawks do Monday and Tuesday evenings at Birdland, also birdlandjazz.com. And those, my friends, are the friends, of the Daverhood. Hold your ears, it's time for more Vivaldi. Anywho, so it is just about 11:30 in the morning Eastern time. We have a little time to stretch out if there's other things that we want to talk about before we get to our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. But any other stuff going on? It was a relatively tame week. We shopped a bit. We went to Target, woohoo. We went to a supermarket a couple of times, woohoo-hoo. There's really nothing, I'm glad that nothing tragic and terrible happened in particular to us in particular this week, but it was what it was. It kind of went in a nice, semi-pleasant way. It really did. Basically, all our thoughts, or all my thoughts right now are just like episode 1000. Get more people, arrange it, figure out the room, figure out this, how long is it going to be, what am I going to do, I'll figure it out. And we will absolutely, of course, keep you posted on next week's episode of the show. So, barring other things that we have to do, let us get to the evil, evil, nasty, naughty Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Because lived in Colorado for several years, and I decided to write a poem about as many places in Colorado as I could. The idea being, you have to rhyme, this is the rule, you got to rhyme the name of the town 3 times in order for it to be the subject of the limerick. So there are easy ones, Vale, which rhymes with anything, Greeley, what are some other places? Collins, not so much at all. Route wasn't bad. There are easy ones and there are tougher ones. This one is kind of tougher, but I pride myself, having very little time to work on this week, of having come up with one that I rather like. And no, it's not sexually disgusting at all. It's just plain disgusting. But first, I will tell you a little bit about the place, which is called Camp Bird.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme, and likewise verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain,
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. It's just we're going to the outback of Colorado. All right, let me get me hat on. No, I won't be using the accent for this. But I'll tell you a little bit about Camp Bird, Colorado, and then read the horrible poem about it. Here we go. It's a tiny, unincorporated community in Ouray, which is in southwestern Colorado. In the 1890s, like so many other parts of the state, it was a very productive gold mine, and they had a post office there until about 1920. And speaking of birds, well, Camp Bird, the town is probably named, and the mine that was there was named, for all the ubiquitous birds that would be swooping down and they would eat the miners' food. They'd turn around, there'd be a crow, there'd be some kind of raptor bird of prey and go and take it away. As a matter of fact, you probably never heard of this place, but C.W. McCall, the convoy, remember Convoy? We got a great big convoy rocking through the... I remember when we go on vacation, my dad would play WHN, the country music radio station in New York, because he really got into it. And they would have a playlist of about 4 fucking songs. That was it. It was top 40 or top 10 or 20 applied to country music. So it would just be the same playlist. Oh, man, one Ronnie Millsap song, one really good Willie Nelson and Waylon song, and then like Red Sovine with Teddy Bear and C.W. McCall with Convoy. I just wanted to, I wanted to literally roll out of the car and die. I didn't. But C.W. McCall, the Convoy guy, wrote a song called Camp Bird Mine, based on the gold mining camp. There's pretty good lyrics there. Way out in Colorado in the Camp Bird Mine, down deep in the darkness on level 9, where the water trickles and your blood runs cold, there's a lonesome miner still looking for gold. That's got away. That's pretty good lyric writing right there. Anywho, so there's a whole song about the mine that was in Camp Bird, the Camp Bird Mine. And in fact, really up through the early aughts of this century, they tried to get the mine going again, turn it into something, but it went into bankruptcy. And now, the Environmental Protection Agency, or at least it was until our current president, has been working with a company that bought the mine to keep the contamination of it from constantly leaking into the soil, which I guess it has been doing for 100 years. But, now let's finally stop it. Anywho, if you go, by the way... Oh, hello, bud. Hello, pretty bird on the... Oh, he just flapped his little wings. I wonder if... you will not be able to see it.
He's gone.
Oh, he's gone. If you go to Camp Bird now, though, don't drive on or don't use Camp Bird Road, which remains closed due to a recent rock slide. Seriously. Remember we used to go on those roads, not the really dangerous ones on the sides of mountains even, but even some of the roads in Colorado. You'd be driving here and there'd just be a rock wall. And it's like, beware, it's like, and what? Beware falling rocks. And I'm on the road. What am I going to do? I'm not going to go left into the ravine or, 1,000 feet down. I'm going to drive. I'm going to drive at a reasonable speed limit so I don't die speeding or crash or lose control of the car. If a rock decides to come down and crush me, what? I don't understand. Deer crossing I get because you want to slow down and you can look ahead and sort of see, oh, this deer's over there, maybe there, I'll honk, I'll do a thing. A rock moves very quick. If a rock decides, it's my time to fall, within 3 seconds, it's either right in front of you or right on top of you. There's nothing. Why do they even bother to say rock slide area? Either close the road or put up buttresses or something else, or just, everyone carry a mezuzah while you're driving through this stretch of road. But anyway, you're going to want to kiss your mezuzahs or your rosary beads or whatever you've got, because it's time now for our Colorado Limerick of the Damned for Camp Bird. Ahem. An awful intestinal cramp stirred inside a young woman from Camp Bird. She made a strange sound, then dropped to the ground and squeezed out a pulpy and damp turd. Oh no, our noise machine isn't doing its thing. Here, I'll do this one. Oh, it needs a new battery. Alright, that's still working. That's still doing it. Give me a good beat. Give me a good solid, like... Way out in Colorado, in a camp-bird mine, down deep in the darkness. Nah, it's not. On level 9. Nah, not happening. Not happening. Oh, here's the... It's just a little ice cream truck toy. I just wish it would do either Turkey in a Straw or the Mr. Softy music. That's the real ice cream music, my friends. Anyway, if you have issues with our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, or me, or anything, or the My Sick Mind segment, or any of the stuff we talked about with Dave Konig, or the Greeley Times, just drop me a line. davesgoneby at AOL.com. davesgoneby at AOL.com. I do try and read everything that you send. You can also message me on Facebook or post on the Facebook page. I really, really do, unless you're saying really awful things about me. But otherwise, I love hearing from you, getting emojis and thumbs up and just saying, hey, fun show, or I really enjoyed that, or responding to something that we joked about or talked about. Dave's Gone By at AOL.com. Don't forget, we have a Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2. We have an X page, which is, I think, what is our X page? It is... do I have that? We have an Instagram page, David.Lefkowitz. I forgot to put one of our... Oh, X is Radio Dave 2. Great. Of course, that's Twitter is X. And we have our Blue Sky page, which is Dave's Gone By. Again, most of those things are the same stuff that we're putting on Facebook. And, of course, on our homepage at davesgoneby.com. It's just trying to reach different listeners and different platforms and formats. But really, if you just check davesgoneby.com on the Facebook page, you're getting all the Dave-ness that you need. Not to mention, of course, all our amazing archives from the past 23, really almost 24 years now. So, it's about 20 to 12 Eastern Time here in the Daverhood. And we're just about, I think we hit it. We don't really have to add much more to this episode of the show.
Let's circle back to that. Let's really drill down on this.
Am I looking forward to doing the next episode?
We have to be disruptive.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to do some random things.
We're gaining traction. I feel like it. Let's take that offline. What would be the key?
Uh-oh, is this thing losing its battery?
I'm at capacity.
Ah,
I'm at capacity.
indeed.
I'm at capacity.
That is the consummate sum up of how I feel this week. I'm trying to do what I'm doing and trying to get next week's show going. But yeah, it'll be pretty cool. So please tell everyone. And also, if you've been on this program, if you've been a guest on the show, on the phone or in Zoom or whatever over the past 20-something years, and I haven't gotten in touch with you at this point, get in touch with me. If you happen to be watching or you know someone who's on the show. And it's been somewhat slow going trying to reach out to all the people and find their email addresses or their Facebook feeds and get to them. It's taking some time. So if you're on the show, we really kind of would like to hear from you for just a couple of minutes. We're taping a bunch of stuff this week. We'll have a couple of live people on next week's program, which will air from 9 until noon-ish. Next week will be really ish. On Saturday mornings here in the beautiful Eastern Time Daverhood out in lovely Maryland. So it rings for me one last time to thank Dave Konig for returning with us for this visit. It remains for me, of course, to thank Rabbi Sol Solomon and my beloved and amazing and adorable Mama wife, who has been providing the musical accompaniment and the noise accompaniment and some of the spoken help for the program, and for doing all the stuff she does during the week too, to help and love and support yours truly. I love you and I really appreciate it. Anything we want, we have 20 minutes if we wanted them, or we're just gonna end the show and go start doing it. We're hungry, I think. I know, I'm getting a little rumbly here. So we're gonna end this one early because we're gonna make up that time next week. This has been the 999th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio programmio of the stream on this September 13th, 2025. The next time you see me, we will be 1,000. Rather amazing. We'll see you next week.